Chapter 339. Unfortunately, the high-level Yin Qi bead's energy is no longer of any use to me. Xiaoping left the cave as if he was flying and ran out of the Yin Corpse mountain range. His whole body was surging with true qi, and like a super sports car he was rampaging. Any zombie that dared to block him would be smashed into pieces. After a few days of cultivation, he constantly absorbed the energy of the high-level Yin Qi bead, transforming it into qi and tempering his body. He finally raised his cultivation to the peak of the seventh sky of the warrior realm. However, because he absorbed too much Yin Qi bead energy, his body developed a resistance to Yin Qi bead. No matter how much he absorbed, the high-level Yin Qi bead could not increase his qi. Fine, I'll give the rest of the high-level Yin Qi bead to the school and exchange them for points. In these 2 or 3 days, Xiaoping did not just cultivate. He also went around hunting corpse kings, entering the corpse king graveyard and plundering treasures. In the end, after a few days, he also obtained a large number of Yin Qi beads. There were high-level, middle-level and low-level Yin Qi beads. Adding them all up, he obtained a total of 50,000 points. Finally left. After running for more than an hour, Xiaoping finally left the Yin Corpse mountain range. Feeling the fresh air of the outside world as well as the bright sunshine and vitality, he immediately felt incomparably comfortable. This kind of place was where humans should stay. In a space like the Yin Corpse mountain range, the Yin Qi was too heavy and lifeless. It was simply not a place for humans to stay. Beep beep, suddenly the smartwatch on Xiaoping's hand rang. Someone was contacting him. He immediately opened it and the figure of a person appeared. It was Feng Hetong. Big brother, have you left the Yin Corpse mountain range? We have already returned to the Yin Corpse city. Feng Hetong asked. In the past few days they had used the communication device to contact each other. They had agreed to return to Yanhuang University in a few days and now it was time. Xiaoping nodded. I have already left. You guys wait for me at the airport. With a snap, he hung up the communication device. 10 minutes later, he returned to the Yin Corpse city. He immediately saw Jianghu, Chu Rong, Nangong Wu and Feng Hetong waiting for him at the airport entrance. After a few days of training in the Yin Corpse mountain range, although Jianghu and the others' qi cultivation did not increase, they were still at the third sky of the warrior realm. However, their essence, energy and spirit had greatly changed. If they were like flowers in a greenhouse before, then they now had a trace of the embryonic form of elite warriors, emitting a fearsome aura. What do you think? How's the harvest these days? Xiaoping asked curiously. Jianghu faintly smiled. Not too bad. After killing several hundred zombies, I also obtained 400 to 500 low-grade energy beads. When I return to school, I should be able to exchange them for 400 to 500 points, which can be exchanged for some medicinal pills to aid my cultivation. For them, it was already a good harvest to be able to obtain hundreds of low-level Yin Qi beads. After all, they were only at the third heaven of the martial artist realm. If they wanted to deal with a monster at the level of the zombie king, they did not know how far it was. 4 ordinary martial artists that entered the evil corpse mountain range, being able to preserve their lives was already not bad. Wanting to have a great harvest was also very difficult. Big brother, where are Su Jianhua and the others? Did they come looking for trouble with you? Feng Hetong asked in a low voice. Jianghu and the others also looked at Xiaoping, very concerned about this point. I didn't see them. Maybe they were killed by some corpse king. Xiaoping said lightly. He did not intend to tell Feng Hetong and the others that he had killed Su Jianhua and the others. After all, the death of a group of Yanhuang University students was a big matter in the outside world. It would definitely be strictly investigated. This matter could not be leaked at all. If one more person knew, it would increase the risk of it being leaked. Moreover, Jianghu and the others knowing about this matter was useless. Instead, it would only add to their worries. If that's the case, then that's great. Jianghu and the others immediately felt relieved. Once they returned to Yanhuang University, no matter how fierce Su Jianhua and the others were, they would not dare to make a move in the university. They would also be safe. Let's go back. Xiaoping waved his hand. They immediately entered the airport and boarded his private flying ship, the Radiant God, and then flew towards Yanhuang University. After a few hours, they finally arrived at Yanhuang University. Xiaoping, you're finally back. When Xiaoping and the others left Yanhuang University's airport, suddenly a delicate shout came out. It was like a thunderclap, causing the surrounding people to be shocked. Outside the airport, there appeared 20 beautiful women. Each of their beautiful eyes were filled with anger. They stared at Xiaoping, who was walking towards them, as if they wanted to eat him alive. And the leader of this group of women was Su Ji. In order to find Xia Ping's whereabouts, they constantly sent people to monitor Yin Corp City. The result was very smooth. After they received the news that Xia Ping had returned to Yanhuang University, they immediately rushed to the airport and blocked Xia Ping's way. Suji? Isn't this the so-called #1 beauty among the freshmen, Suji? That's her. It said that she was very famous during high school and became a campus idol. God knows how many men pursued her. She was ranked #1 on the list of beauties that she most wanted to date. Moreover, the number of votes she received was many times higher than the #1. Not only is she beautiful, but she's also very strong. She was ranked #2 in the freshman ranking competition. Now she has even advanced to the 8th level of the fighter realm and will become a king realm expert in the future. But why does she look so angry right now? It seems like she has a belly full of fire? Could it be that she was abandoned by a man? Bullshit, who would abandon such a beauty? Is that man blind? Holy shit, I know that man. He's Xia Ping, the #1 newcomer in this year's freshman ranking competition, the fake Xia Ping. Fake Xia Ping? How does this guy know Suji? According to my brain that has an IQ of 300, there must be something fishy going on. Seeing this scene, the surrounding students were all discussing it. They all looked at this scene with incomparable curiosity. Some people even began to take photos and upload them to the internet. Big brother, when did you have an affair with Suji? Your efficiency in picking up girls is too high. Feng Hatong was dumbstruck. Jianghu and the others were also speechless. They didn't know when Xia Ping and Suji got involved. Xia Ping. Suji walked up and stared at Xia Ping. Her beautiful eyes were filled with killing intent. Do you think you can run away? The monk can run but the temple can't. If you don't give me an explanation today, don't even think about leaving. Her tone was resolute and decisive. Yes, don't even think about running. You've already done such a shameless thing. Do you think this kind of thing can be let go? If you don't give us an explanation, we won't let you off. The group of girls glared at Xia Ping. They had never suffered such a big loss in their lives. If they didn't punish this perverted thief, they would have suffered for nothing. Chapter 340. Shameless thing? What kind of shameless thing is that? Really stupid, you still can't figure it out? How did you get into Yanhuang University? That's right, looking at their angry faces, it's 100% because this Xia Ping did something wrong to them. Maybe he got in the car and ran away without paying. Bastard, this Xia Ping is definitely a bastard. So many women have been taken by him, is he still human? Doesn't that mean Suji also fell into this kid's evil hands? Is there still justice in this world? How did he do it? How did he do it? He definitely drugged them, otherwise how could these women agree? Xia Ping bastard, I swear I will kill him. He actually dares to blaspheme my goddess, he wants to die, the entire Yanhuang University can't tolerate him. The surrounding students were all wailing, each and every one of them were glaring at Xia Ping, they simply couldn't suppress the anger in their hearts. Thinking that even their goddess Suji was eaten clean by this bastard, they wanted to go crazy, this kind of thing was really hard to accept. Jianghu and the others were stunned, they were very clear of Xia Ping's character. He is not a man who would do such a thing, but what's with these women's anger? I didn't expect you to be so persistent, it's just a small matter, why are you so persistent? Xia Ping raised his eyebrows, faintly looking at Suji and the others, he could see with a glance that this group of women did not have good intentions. It must be known that for women, being peeped on is a shameful thing, ordinary people are not willing to make it public. If they want to deal with it, they will deal with it in a low-key way, secretly. But they are so high-profile, blocking his way in front of so many people. No matter how you look at it, these women's motive is actually not simple. Small matter? Hearing this, Suji was so angry that she laughed. For you it's a small matter, but for us it's a big matter. Don't think you can easily get away with it. The other women also stared at Xia Ping, being seen by another man. This kind of thing for these virgin girls is simply a disgrace, they can't just let it go like this. Alright, I was indeed in the wrong on this matter. Xia Ping rolled his eyes and put forward his own suggestion. Say, how much money do you want? If you can solve it with money, then it can't be better. Don't bother me in the future. He had a look of wealth on his face. As soon as these words came out, the surrounding people instantly went into an uproar. Everyone was shocked. Shameless. He has committed such a heinous crime, and this bastard still wants to solve it with money? Absurd to the extreme. Does this bastard think that everything in this world can be solved with money? You're looking down on me. Although money is very useful, it is not omnipotent. You have harmed so many innocent women. You want to use money to shut these women's mouths. How could you do such a thing? I've long heard that this trash Xiaoping's family is very rich. He bribed the school's leader and went through the back door to become the new student's number one. He even bought a private spaceship. For this kid, money is simply a number, it's nothing. But I didn't expect this bastard's arrogance to be beyond our imagination. He wants to use money to settle it. This bastard is probably used to bullying men and taking women. He thinks that any woman can be settled with money. That's why he said such words. It's easy to imagine how bad this kid's character is. He's definitely a playboy. If placed in ancient times, he would be the last king of a generation, an incapable ruler, a prodigal son who buried the dynasty. The surrounding students all cursed and angrily glared at Xiaoping. Even if you beat them to death, they never thought that this Xiaoping was actually such a person. He's too hateful, too arrogant. Su Ji angrily glared at Xiaoping. She never thought that Xiaoping would say such words. Thinking about who she is the direct descendant of a dignified king's family, the new student's second strongest, a peerless beauty of her generation. As long as she casually beckons with her finger, a bunch of people will give her money. She doesn't even need to return it. When it comes to assets, Su Ji has never been afraid of anyone. But this bastard is extremely arrogant. He actually wants to use money to settle this matter. It's like a street beggar throwing money at Jack Ma's face. He's looking down on people too much. Does he think I, Su Ji, am a beggar? You guys came to the airport to block me and mobilized a large number of people. Isn't it nothing more than money? Xiaoping revealed a rich and overbearing look and said, I, Xiaoping, may not have much, but I have a lot of money. How much do you want? Just say the number and I'll immediately transfer the money. The efficiency is good. Of course, the amount of money can't be too excessive. After all, a person must know when to stop and when to stop. This is the common sense of society. I hope you understand. He stood with his hands behind his back, looking at these women. I'm so angry. This man is so infuriating. In my life, this is the first time I see a man who wants to beat him up. Scumbag to the extreme, shameless to the extreme. How can such a man live peacefully until now? Strike him to death. Why doesn't God send down a thunderbolt to strike him to death? Who do you think we are? Women who can do anything for money? He said to stop before going too far. This bastard is not only shameless but also stingy. If we really offer a high price, maybe he won't admit it. Instead, he will slander us for being greedy and taking advantage of everything. Everyone, don't stop me. If I don't cripple this bastard today, my future husband will be a naked man for the rest of his life. Hearing Xiaoping's words, the other women were angered half to death. Their lungs were almost about to explode. Their faces turned red. Although they have their own calculations, they didn't expect Xiaoping to say such words. One must know that although their family can't be compared to Su Ji's king's family, they can also be regarded as an aristocratic family. Their assets are more than 100 billion. If they want money, they can go to the bank. From childhood to adulthood, they have never been troubled by money. But this shameless Xiaoping actually treated them as money-hungry shrews. They came to the airport to cause trouble for money. He looked down on them too much. Jiang Yaru, Nangong Wu and Chu Rong's mouth twitched. Although they knew in their hearts that Xiaoping was definitely acting, hearing these words, they also wanted to hammer him. It was too infuriating. Of course, what I mean is not that money can solve all the problems. Xiaoping said with a smile, but if money can solve this problem, then it couldn't be better. It's good for everyone. Shut up. Su Ji couldn't take it anymore. Her face turned red with anger. Her beauty was moving and her figure was enchanting. Chapter 341. Seeing Su Ji's action, Xiaoping's eyes revealed a glimmer of light. He stepped out and struck a palm in the air. Bang! A huge force bombarded the palm. The two collided with each other, and the ground was immediately blasted into a huge hole. Gravel splashed everywhere and a crack appeared. What? Su Ji was surprised. She felt that her fist seemed to have no effect on Xiaoping. When she resisted the other's palm, her strength was constantly weakened, as if she was hitting cotton. She couldn't even make this kid take half a step back. This guy has become stronger. Su Ji immediately felt that Xiaoping's aura was completely different from last time. It seemed to have become more powerful. Even if she was a level higher than him, she had no chance of winning. Is that enough? Xiaoping looked at Su Ji with a smile and said, if you want to use your fist to solve the problem, I will accompany you to the end. Su Ji took a deep look at Xiaoping. She was very unwilling, but she also knew that continuing like this would not give her any advantage. She coldly snorted, "This time you are lucky, but don't think that you can continue to be proud." After dropping this sentence, she turned and left. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Seeing this, the other girls also angrily stared at Xia Ping. All of them were very unwilling, but seeing that Suji had left, they also had to leave. It can't be, after making such a big fuss, it's over? How is this possible? I think this matter will be solved privately. But it's really incredible that the fake Xia Ping actually tarnished the #1 beauty Suji. This matter will definitely shake the entire Yanhuang University. I don't know how many people will go crazy. It has already been shaken. Now the internet is full of scolding. Those Suji fans all said that they must find Xia Ping to settle the account. They won't stop until the fake Xia Ping is beaten into a pig's head. It is said that the real #1 expert among the freshmen, Xiao Yishuan, is also Suji's pursuer. If he knows about this, he won't go crazy, right? In short, this kid will definitely not have a good end. It is estimated that he will become a mouse that everyone in Yanhuang University wants to beat. I don't know how long he can stay in Yanhuang University. The surrounding students discussed animatedly. They all looked at Xia Ping with schadenfreude, thinking that this kid had angered the public. They reckoned that he wouldn't be able to stay in Yanhuang University for long and would definitely be punished miserably. Let's go to the academic affairs office. Xia Ping couldn't be bothered to care about what the others thought. He immediately left. Jianghu and the others also nodded and followed along. Because the administration office was the place responsible for handing over missions, they had obtained a lot of energy beads and needed to go to the administration office to exchange them for points. At this time, in a luxurious villa in Yanhuang University, Suji's residence. At this time, a group of women returned from the airport, but now all of them were angry. That bastard called Xia Ping is too hateful. That's right. I've never seen such a despicable scumbag before. He actually wanted to bribe us with money and shut our mouths. He's simply crazy about this. Who does that bastard think we are? He thinks that we'll forget this matter just by casually throwing a few dollars at us. What a joke, he's too self-righteous. Sure enough, he's a country bumpkin from Yanhuang planet. He's used to being arrogant and despotic in Yanhuang planet. He thinks that in the cloud world, it will be like his family's territory, where he can do whatever he wants. If we don't teach that bastard a lesson, we won't be able to vent our anger at all. One by one, the girls grimaced and their beautiful eyes spewed fire. They were choked with anger by Xia Ping's words. It was estimated that they had never been so angry in their lives. It was simply unheard of, unseen. When ordinary men saw them, which one of them didn't come forward to curry favor, flatter, and be careful, for fear that they would be unhappy. But that kid was different. He wanted to use money to knock them unconscious. He was extremely domineering. Who did he think they were? Nightingales from the filthy land? Someone who could get on the bus just by paying money? It doesn't matter. After today's incident, that kid will definitely not have a good time. A girl wearing black-rimmed glasses said in a deep voice. Her glasses flashed with a strange light. Indeed. A tall girl also nodded. Before, some of the men who dared to approach Sister Sue were beaten half to death by a group of suitors. I don't know how miserable they were. Now that there's such a big scandal, it's estimated that this Xia Ping will be torn apart by those angry suitors. She had seen this kind of thing countless times. Some boys tried to pursue Suji, but before they could say a few words, they were caught by a group of fans, dragged to a remote alley, and beaten until they were beyond recognition. Even their mothers couldn't recognize them. Just a few words were already so serious. Now that there's such a big scandal, how could Xia Ping get any better? It was estimated that it would be difficult for him to stay in Yanhuang University. In fact, they deliberately stopped Xia Ping at the airport in order to expose this matter and let Suji's suitors teach Xia Ping a hard lesson. Now it seemed that this plan was extraordinarily smooth. There was no need for them to say anything. That kid automatically jumped into the trap. It was clear that he was courting death. He deserves such an end. If such a perverted thief continues to stay in Yanhuang University, I don't know how many girls will fall into his hands. He probably treats Yanhuang University as a place for those fireworks and willows. Indeed, according to that bastard's character, I don't know how many girls have been defiled in the past. Although we don't care about money, some girls do. Maybe they will fall into that bastard's trap. Yeah, although that bastard's means are very despicable, simple and crude, I have to say that it's very effective. With money, there will always be some girls who will fall into his hands. There's no other way. Most girls are clean, but some are shameless. but we don't need to worry about it in the future. After a while, I guess we can see that bastard begging for mercy. Humph, we can't let him go so easily. If we don't completely change his bad character, we absolutely can't forgive him. Otherwise, we don't know how much trouble he will cause in the future. I can't wait to see the scene of that arrogant bastard begging for mercy. Let's see if he still dares to say that he wants to solve it with money. If he still dares to say such words, I'll kick his third leg so that he can't even speak. Many of the girls discussed. Imagining that arrogant bastard begging them for mercy, they felt extremely comfortable. Chapter 342. An hour later, Xia Ping came out of the administration office. He had already handed over all his Yin energy beads, earning a total of 53,753 points. Adding on the 10,000 points from before, he now had a total of 60,000 points. Jianghu and the others also handed over their Yin energy beads, each receiving 500 to 600 points. Afterwards they returned to their dorms to rest. Xia Ping didn't return to his dorm, but instead planned to go to the medical center. He wanted to refine the black Yin fruit into the black Yin pill, and he needed the help of the alchemists here. Thus he parted ways with Jianghu and the others. So this is the medical center? 10 minutes later, Xia Ping took the school bus to the medical center. Although it was called a medical center, it wasn't just a hospital responsible for treating patients. It was also the medical laboratory of Jianghu University, responsible for researching all kinds of advanced medicines. For example, health potions and golden potions. The medical center had the most advanced medical equipment, as well as experimental equipment. It wasn't much worse than any large corporation. Naturally, it also gathered the most powerful researchers. The area is really huge. Xia Ping clicked his tongue in admiration as he looked at his surroundings. Just the medical center alone was no smaller than a small city. It was also divided into various departments such as the hospital department, the pharmacy department, the pill department, the biochemistry department, and so on. The department he was heading to was the pill department, where all kinds of alchemists were gathered. Finally arrived at the pill department. After taking the bus, Xia Ping arrived at the pill department a few minutes later. He looked around and found that the building of the pill department was completely different from the other buildings. It wasn't made of reinforced concrete, and it didn't have a sci-fi feel to it. It was completely antique, and the surroundings were made of huge stone buildings. It was like a huge ancient castle, and the surroundings were filled with an enchanting medicinal fragrance. There are a lot of students here. Xia Ping arrived in front of the castle and found many students going in and out. The entrance was heavily guarded, and one needed to verify their identity before they could enter. Otherwise they would be stopped by the student guards. He knew that these students should be from the pill department, because Jianghu University didn't only recruit fighters, but also many researchers. Even though researchers did not have powerful battle prowess, they were extremely intelligent. They were responsible for researching all sorts of biological technologies and refining all sorts of top-grade medicinal pills. They were an indispensable part of human society, and their status was also very high. The guards at the entrance of the castle were all students. They were at least at the 7th firmament of the martial artist realm and above. Most of them were senior students. They worked as guards for the elixir department and earned school points at the same time. However, don't look down on being a guard in this place. In fact, being a guard in the pill department was a lucrative job. Who knew how many students wanted to be a guard but didn't have the opportunity to do so? As a guard in the medicinal pill department, he would have the opportunity to come into contact with the medicinal pill department's apprentice alchemists, master alchemists, and so on. If he could gain the friendship of these people and then embezzle some medicinal pills and spirit herbs from them, the benefits would be countless. This was much better than leaving Jianghu University and painstakingly hunting monsters. There was no risk and extremely high profits, so it naturally became the first choice of many students. The problem was that such a position was too popular, and people without a background were not qualified to get it. Look, isn't that the fake Xia Ping? Yeah, I'd recognize that kid even if he turned into ashes. He's already famous at Jianghu University. How can he not be famous? Even a great beauty like Su Ji was poisoned by this kid, and her chastity was taken away by him. Now I don't know how many students want to kill this kid, dismember his body into 10,000 pieces. What? There's actually such a thing? Su Ji is a direct descendant of the king's family. How dare he do such an evil thing? Isn't he afraid of being destroyed by the Su family? It is said that this Xia Ping's background is also very deep. His family is very rich and he even tried to use money to settle this matter. What a beast. He has already drugged a girl and he still wants to use money to settle this matter. This method is too skilled. How many such heartless things has that bastard done? There are rumors on the internet. It is said that when Xia Ping was in Yanhuang Star, he was already a famous playboy. He was known as the 10,000 beheader. Every night he was a groom. He often robbed women on the street, causing the people of Yanhuang Star to seethe with resentment, but no one dared to provoke him. Damn it, he harmed the women of Yanhuang Star and now he wants to harm the Cloud Realm? He's too bold. Is his background really so hard that no one can afford to offend him? In short, if there are any beautiful sisters, quickly hide. Otherwise, if they are targeted by this beast, I'm afraid their innocence will be gone the next day. Now the entire Yanhuang University is in a state of panic. Everyone is in danger. Of course, there's no need to worry if they are ugly. This is a powerful weapon to repel perverts. Many students were talking and immediately looked at Xia Ping, who was walking from a distance. Their eyes were strange and they looked at this legendary beast with contempt. Some people even wanted to rush over and beat Xia Ping, but they were also worried about Xia Ping's mysterious background and did not dare to do so. That kid is the new student Xia Ping? He just entered the university and he's already stirring up such a storm. He's very high profile. Humph, Yanhuang University is full of hidden dragons and crouching tigers. There are countless capable people. A freshman dares to be so arrogant. Too hard is easy to break. There are many people with a background. Even if he comes from a king's family, he can't be tyrannical. Such a playboy will be cleaned up sooner or later. Seeing this situation, some guards and seniors sneered. They crossed their arms and looked at Xia Ping in the distance with disdain. They did not take Xia Ping seriously at all. Stop. A senior suddenly shouted at Xia Ping, who came to the door. This is the elixir department. Unrelated people are not allowed to come near. Whoever dares to trespass will be killed. He looked at Xia Ping coldly, and a terrible murderous aura surged from his body. I'm here to find an alchemy master to refine elixir pills. Xia Ping stated his purpose. He could see that this senior was strong and had the strength of the ninth heaven of the martial artist realm. He was above many freshmen. The master is not here now. You can go back. We'll talk in a few days. The senior waved his hand and wanted to send Xia Ping away. The others sneered. They knew that this senior was clearly making things difficult for Xia Ping. After all, there were countless alchemy masters in the elixir department. Even if one was not here, there would still be others. Xia Ping furrowed his brows and said coolly, "You guys have some guts to even dare to stop me from entering the medicinal pill department. Who gave you this kind of authority? You are just gatekeepers. Don't take a chicken feather as an arrow. If I report this to the Academic Affairs Office, all of you will have to bear the consequences. This is dereliction of duty." His voice was very cold. Since the other party was not polite, he would not have a good attitude. How dare you? The senior's eyes were cold. He snorted coldly, "I don't think you are here to find an alchemy master. You are here to cause trouble. Wait until I capture you and interrogate you. Let's see what your purpose is." As soon as he finished speaking, he blasted a punch at Xia Ping. It was extremely ruthless. Chapter 343. Zephyr Fist. As soon as he punched out, a terrifying gust of wind exploded in the air, forming countless streams of energy that gathered together to create an extremely terrifying force that could destroy anything. Even a rock that weighed hundreds of tons would be smashed into powder by this punch. Its power was terrifying. Furthermore, this Zephyr Fist had the power to rotate and penetrate. Even if a normal martial artist cultivated a protective technique, their protective chi would still be broken and their internal organs would be injured. They would not be able to block it. Obviously, this senior student was ruthless when he attacked and he wanted to heavily injure Xia Ping. Hee, that kid is unlucky. Who doesn't know that those senior students are usually overbearing and arrogant? They are all old foxes and are not afraid of the school rules at all. They have been in the school for a long time and are familiar with all kinds of school rules. They know that even if they fight in the school, as long as they don't kill anyone, they can solve the problem by paying some points. But this kid is doomed. Meeting these unruly senior students, he will definitely be beaten up badly. He might even have to lie in the hospital for a month. But he deserves it. The surrounding students were all talking about it as if they were watching a good show. Some of the senior guards stood high and mighty with arrogant expressions on their faces. They looked at Xia Ping with eyes filled with ridicule. So what if this kid was the champion of the freshman ranking competition? He had just entered the academy after all. How could he compare to them, the senior students? Now they wanted to teach this new student a lesson and let them know that they were not qualified to do whatever they wanted in Yanhuang University. They should respect and fear the senior students and teach them some principles. This was killing the chicken to scare the monkey. Too arrogant. Xia Ping's eyes showed a trace of anger. He had originally only wanted to find someone to refine pills for him and did not want to cause trouble. But these people were so ruthless as soon as they met. They really thought he was a soft persimmon that they could pinch as they pleased. With a boom he directly punched out. All the chi in his body vibrated and his fist smashed out. The air seemed to vibrate thousands of times as it emitted the aura of an ancient beast. Bang! With just one touch, the fist force and wind were immediately shattered by Xia Ping's fist. They were torn apart inch by inch and exploded in the air, making a rumbling sound. The surrounding people felt a burst of pain in their eardrums. The chi vibrated and swept in all directions. They could not help but take more than 10 steps back to barely withstand the impact. How is this possible? The senior student was shocked. The punch that he was determined to win had the power of the ninth heaven of the martial artist realm. Even the top freshman would not be a match for him. However, that brat had broken his attack with just a single punch. It was simply terrifying. Oh no! However, before he could recover from his shock, he immediately felt a wave of danger approaching. His hair stood on end because that brat's left fist smashed over. It was as if a violent bear had stood up, shaking the mountain forest. It contained a berserk power that was enough to tear apart all prey. At this time he was simply unable to block because the speed of the fist was simply too fast. He had only just seen the opponent's fist, and the void Jin Chi fist blasted over, solidly hitting his chest. Dong! There was an explosion in midair, and the senior student was sent flying. He spat out a mouthful of blood in midair like a fountain, splattering on the ground. 5 or 6 of his ribs were broken. With a thud, he flew for dozens of meters before finally falling to the ground. His face was deathly pale and intense pain spread throughout his body. He couldn't help but let out a mournful scream. Bastard, you actually dare to attack. Sure enough, you are here to make trouble. Let's go together and capture this bastard. Teach him some rules. This is not a place where he can behave atrociously. When they saw such a situation occur, the group of senior students at the entrance were instantly enraged. Hitting a senior student was equivalent to slapping their faces, and it was an insult to their dignity. If they let this brat leave unscrupulously, then what face would these senior students have? They were afraid that they would become a joke in the entire school. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Immediately, more than a dozen senior students attacked together. At least they were experts in the 7th heaven of the martial artist realm. Among them, there were also 5 or 6 experts in the 9th heaven of the martial artist realm. Each of them was a martial arts elite. They all attacked together wanting to beat Xia Ping half to death. Rumble, Zhen Qi vibrated, and attacks appeared in midair. Some were violent punches, some were blade chi that could tear everything apart, some were powerful footwork that could sweep away thousands of soldiers, and some were invincible sword chi. A series of terrible attacks poured down like a flood. The air exploded one after another, and the killing intent vibrated, almost completely drowning Xia Ping's body. If he was hit by this move, he would definitely fall to the ground with serious injuries and may not recover for several months. The surrounding students were shocked to the extreme. They retreated again and again for fear of being affected. Their hearts were inexplicably shocked. This Xia Ping actually dared to offend so many senior students. He was simply courting death. It was estimated that after receiving such an attack, he would definitely be carried away today. Buddha's palm. Xia Ping's eyes revealed a glimmer of light. He used the Kunpeng steps and densely packed figures appeared in his place. Each figure was covered with golden Jin Qi, like a Buddha, exuding a grand, compassionate and other aura. At this moment he seemed to have 3 heads and 6 arms. Dense palm prints appeared in midair. Each palm print seemed to be branded in midair, containing the great power of subduing demons. With a palm strike, the sky was filled with golden light. The chi was violent and invincible. It was like setting off an earth-shattering gale. Countless cracks appeared on the ground. Bang bang bang. The shockwaves in the air were instantly shattered by the violent palm power. The terrifying palm power traveled through the air, vibrating thousands of times before slamming into the bodies of the senior students. In an instant, it pierced through their protective true energy. It was simply like a Buddha slapping a huge palm print on their chest. It was impossible to resist. Ah! A group of senior students let out shrill screams. Their bodies were like straw directly slapped out. They flew for a full 100 meters before falling to the ground, coughing up blood. One by one they screamed in pain. More than a dozen of their ribs were broken. Even their lungs were severely injured. Their eyes revealed an extremely frightened expression. It seemed that they could not believe that they were actually so vulnerable. Are you kidding? Just one move and he beat those senior students like dead dogs. They are simply vulnerable. How is this possible? A freshman was dumbfounded and could not believe his eyes. After all, such a scene was too exaggerated. They could not imagine it at all. Strange, didn't they say that this kid is only at the 5th heaven of the martial artist realm? What is going on now? At least 7 acupoints have been opened and he has reached the 7th heaven of the martial artist realm. Could it be that his cultivation has made great progress during this period of time? Nonsense, even driving a spaceship can't improve so quickly. The information is wrong. The information must be wrong. If this kid has the cultivation of the 7th heaven of the martial artist realm, it may not be impossible for him to become the top freshman. Chapter 344. How about it? Don't you want to fight anymore? Xiaoping looked down at the group of senior students who had fallen to the ground with his hands behind his back. Do you think that after staying in school for a few years, you are invincible and can bully the freshmen at will just because you have a deep cultivation of vital energy? I can tell you that you are not qualified. What? Hearing this, the group of senior students almost exploded with anger and their faces turned red. They had been cultivating at Yanhuang University for 2 to 3 years and had finally advanced to the peak of the martial artist realm. Apart from the elite students, they were the strongest, but this kid actually dared to say such a thing, saying that they were not qualified at all. It was too insulting. However, they had nothing to say. In the face of the freshmen who had just entered school, they relied on their strong cultivation and even attacked together, but they were defeated by the other party with one palm. Such a failure could not be explained with any reason. It was purely because the gap in strength was too big. Still not convinced? Xiaoping glanced at them. Is it wrong to say that you are not qualified? To tell you the truth, you have been cultivating in school for a few years, but you have cultivated for nothing. You have learned nothing. You want to teach me some rules? Aren't you afraid of being laughed at? Trash that can be crippled with a single palm strike still dares to strut around in front of me? Tell me, are you not trash? He looked down at the senior students from above. Those seniors were so angry that their faces alternated between red and purple like pig liver. They had never suffered such humiliation in their entire lives. Moreover, they were humiliated by a mere freshman. They were extremely aggrieved, but they could not say anything at all. So many of them had been crippled by the other party. What right did they have to say such a thing? They were afraid that after today, they would all become the laughingstock of the school. Kid, don't go too far, a senior student shouted, unable to bear the humiliation. With a bang, Xiaoping's palm landed solidly on the senior student's face. It immediately left a 5-fingered red mark on the senior student's face and sent him flying. He spun 5 or 6 times in the air before falling to the ground. When he fell to the ground, his whole face was red and swollen, and even 2 or 3 teeth had fallen out. Too much? You are the ones who are too much. Xiaoping sneered. I, an unarmed person, came to the medicine department, just to pay a visit to the alchemy master, spend some points and ask the alchemy master to help me refine pills. But what about all of you? You're nothing more than watchdogs. Each and every one of you uses a chicken feather as a token of authority, arrogant and despotic. You don't put me in your eyes at all. You immediately attack me, and if you can't beat a single person, you attack as a group. If I didn't have some ability, I would have been beaten to death by you guys long ago. How could I still be talking here? Right now, I'm only slightly crippling you and teaching you some principles of how to be a person. Yet you still say that I'm going overboard? You can tell me loudly, is what I'm doing too overboard? He stared at the group of senior students, and his aura crushed down fiercely, oppressing them to the point that they couldn't even breathe. The other spectating students were also speechless. These seniors had brought this upon themselves. How about this? I'm a very benevolent person. Xiaoping suggested, it's very simple to resolve this matter. Each of you break one of your legs and kowtow to me as an apology. Then I'll forgive you this once. Of course, just this once. If you dare to be disrespectful to me again, I'll cripple you directly. I'll beat you up so badly that even your mothers won't be able to recognize you. Do you understand? You. Hearing these words, the faces of the group of senior students flushed red. They were so angry that they felt like their lungs were about to explode. Asking them to kowtow and apologize and breaking one of their legs? How was this forgiving them? This was clearly humiliating them. If they really did this, then they would truly become a laughingstock. How could they continue to survive in a place like Yanhuang University? Stop, what you're doing is a little too overboard. You beat up seniors and want them to break one of their legs and kowtow to you as an apology. No matter what, this is a little too overboard. Right at this moment, a person walked out from the elixir department. He was dressed in white and his eyebrows were like swords. He had an elegant demeanor, and his body exuded a graceful and luxurious aura, just like an elegant young master. When he walked over, he was like a king with an unparalleled aura. It was as if there was a light on his body that no one could ignore, and he automatically became the focus of the crowd. Who the hell are you? Xia Ping narrowed his eyes and felt the dangerous aura from this person. Although the other party was only at the 8th heaven of the martial warrior realm, he was much stronger than those seniors who were at the 9th heaven of the martial warrior realm. This was a true genius. Xiao Yishuan from the Xiao family. The young man in white said. His voice was as gentle as jade, but every word was incomparably clear to everyone's ears, showing his unfathomable genuine qi cultivation. He's Xiao Yishuan. That's right, I've seen his photo on the internet. It's indeed him. Now there's a good show to watch. It's said that Xiao Yishuan is the real #1 among the freshmen this time, and this Xia Ping is just a fake. He got first place by going through the back door. When the real #1 and the fake #1 meet, it's like a comet colliding with planet Yanhuang. I heard that Xiao Yishuan is also pursuing Suji, and that Xia Ping actually had that kind of relationship with Suji. You can imagine how angry Xiao Yishuan is now. I reckon he can't wait to tear Xia Ping apart. Hee, now there's a good show to watch. The surrounding students discussed and became excited all of a sudden. Some people even secretly took photos and uploaded this matter to the internet because this matter was really too important. You want to stand up for these people? A freshman is standing up for the seniors. This is a bit interesting. Xia Ping looked at Xiao Yishuan indifferently. The group of seniors were extremely sullen and ashamed to the point that they wanted to immediately bury their heads in the ground. The seniors, actually had to rely on another freshman to save them. It was simply shameful. I'm not going to talk nonsense with you. Now I'll only give you two choices. Xiao Yishuan ignored Xia Ping's attempt to drive a wedge between them. He raised two fingers and said, one is to kneel down immediately, kowtow to these seniors, apologize and then get out of here. The other is to be crippled by me. Remember, you want to get out, not walk out. If you dare to use your legs to walk, then I'll personally break both of your legs so that you can only sit in a wheelchair for the rest of your life. He revealed an unquestionable tone as if he was a high and mighty emperor. Once he gave an order, everyone had no choice but to obey. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes and looked at Xiao Yishuan. Get out, don't be an eyesore here. Chapter 345. Bang. Xiao Yishuan's qi hit Xia Ping's body and was immediately blocked by a wave of genuine qi. It was instantly disintegrated by Dark North body protection technique. It could not cause any harm to Xia Ping at all. It could not even make him take half a step back. What? Seeing this scene, Xiao Yishuan was also a little surprised. One must know that even a casual attack just now contained violent power. Ordinary experts in the 9th heaven of the martial artist realm would be sent flying by this power. But now Xia Ping was only in the 7th heaven of the martial artist realm. He could actually easily resist it without any effort. You asked me to get out and you still want to stand up for these people? Xia Ping's eyes revealed a dangerous light and he sneered, you are a little too arrogant. You must know your place. Don't overestimate yourself. He warned Xiao Yishuan. Shut up. Who am I? It's not your turn to say. Since you don't know how to appreciate favors, then I will cripple you and teach you a lesson. I will let you know what's good for you. Hearing these words, Xiao Yishuan was immediately furious. His eyes were filled with flames of anger and his whole body was trembling with anger. Since young, who dared to say such words to him? Who was Xiao Yishuan? He was the direct descendant of the Xiao family, a king family. He had the bloodline of the Pegasus. His talent was one of the best in Yanhuang University. Once he was born, he was favored by the heavens. He was carefully cultivated by the king family. He was invincible in his life. Even the elders of the family would not give him face and speak kindly. But this kid, not only did he not have the slightest respect, but he was also extremely arrogant. He actually dared to let him know his place. Don't overestimate yourself. Who did this bastard think he was? A King Realm expert. Bang. He took a step forward and the genuine chi in his body surged out. The surrounding air vibrated and condensed into a substance, as if it had turned into a sea. There was a crashing sound and the ground was shaking at this moment. A pair of transparent wings suddenly appeared on his back. He exuded an unattainable aura like a god. The surrounding air was stirred by the wings, forming a vortex. Extreme Wind Blade Fist. In the blink of an eye, Xiao Yishuan punched out, stirring up the air. His vital energy surged out, causing the air around him to condense and turn into sharp wind blades. They continuously sliced through the surroundings, making sizzling sounds. The wind blades condensed into substance and were extremely sharp. Even steel would be sliced into pieces if it came into contact with these wind blades. Their power was 10 times more terrifying than that of a cutting machine. At this moment, hundreds and thousands of wind blades flew towards Xia Ping, blotting out the sky and covering the earth. If one was struck by these wind blades without any defense, his body would immediately be minced into meat paste and cut into countless pieces. Too strong. The surrounding students were all shocked. The older students who had fallen to the ground were also dumbfounded. If it was just ordinary wind blades, perhaps it wouldn't be so terrifying. After all, there were too many of them, and this would cause the power of the wind blades to be too scattered, causing the power of the wind blades to be insufficient and unable to harm the enemy. However, under Xiao Yishuan's control, every wind blade seemed to be controlled almost perfectly. Not a single bit of power leaked out. It could be said that Xiao Yishuan's degree of control over his vital energy was already exquisite. Because of that, each of the wind blades had terrifying destructive power. When hundreds and thousands of them attacked, even a monster with great defense would be cut into pieces. Scram! A cold light flashed in Xia Ping's eyes, and he immediately let out a roar. Unique skill 8 Heavenly Dragon's Music. Oh, go, ba, ma. Suddenly, 8 Heavenly Dragon's music vibrated in the air, forming a terrifying sound wave. It was like hundreds of volcanoes erupting at the same time, shaking the air and blasting towards Xiao Yishuan. Bang bang bang. Immediately, the sound wave swept over and collided with thousands of wind blades. After thousands of vibrations, the wind blades were shattered into pieces. Countless cracks appeared on the ground and gravel flew everywhere. How is this possible? Xiao Yishuan was shocked. His extreme wind blade fist had been cultivated to the acme of perfection. Even an ordinary expert in the 9th heaven of the martial artist realm would not be able to withstand it and would be killed with one punch. However, just a loud roar from the other party had broken all of them, and the wind blades were shattered. Oh no! Xiao Yishuan suddenly felt a strong sense of danger. He sensed that after Xia Ping let out a loud roar, he was not going to let him go. He took a step forward and punched out as fast as lightning. Such a punch was like the birth of a primordial fierce beast, and it exploded with a horrifying aura. Dong. Xiao Yishuan had just set up his defense and was operating the defensive skill in his body, but the punch hit his body and a flood-like power exploded. With a bang, the genuine chi protection on his body was shattered. The huge power penetrated his body, and he was pushed back dozens of meters, and a long crack appeared on the ground. With a sound, Xiao Yishuan could not help but spit out a mouthful of blood. Obviously, his lungs were injured by the punch just now. It can't be. This is Xiao Yishuan, an expert in the 8th heaven of the martial artist realm. He is known as the #1 among the freshmen. Even the older students are no match for him. Some people think that in a few months he will definitely become an elite student, but now he was actually pushed back by Xia Ping with one punch and he even bled. A student was shocked and could not help but shout. Didn't they say that this Xia Ping is a fake? The #1 among the freshmen, did he get it through the back door? What exactly is going on now? Even Xiao Yishuan is not a match for him? This joke is too big. If Xiao Yishuan is not a match for him, then his strength is real. No one is a match for him and he is the true #1. Just now, a group of older students joined forces, but they were still beaten by Xia Ping like dead dogs. From this, we can see that Xia Ping's strength is definitely not an undeserved reputation. He is a real monster. If such a person is still a fake, then what are we? Are we not even trash? The surrounding students were all dumbfounded. They were shocked to the extreme by such a battle scene. The impact was too great. Who would have thought that a legendary fake would be so powerful? Even Xiao Yishuan was forced back by one punch from him and even vomited blood. Martial strength was different from literature. There was no standard for judging literature. There were 1,000 hamlets and 1,000 people. However, the strength of a martial artist was obtained through fighting. If you lose, you lose. If you win, you win. There was no room for deception. Seeing the scene in front of them, no one could doubt Xia Ping's strength anymore. If they were not convinced, they could go up and try to see if they could defeat more than 10 older students with their bare hands. With one punch they could make an expert like Xiao Yishuan vomit blood and retreat continuously. Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back and looked at Xiao Yishuan indifferently. Known as the number one among the freshmen? King family? And you want me to get out? With such strength you still have the cheek to say that? Chapter 346. You're looking to die. Hearing this, Xiao Yishuan felt a wave of anger rush to his head, and he almost went mad. He came from a ruler clan and could be said to be an unparalleled genius. There was no one in the same generation who could rival him, so he had long developed a high and mighty personality, and did not take anyone seriously at all. But now he had been forced back by Xia Ping's one punch and had even spat out blood. He had been humiliated in front of so many people. How could he take this? It could be said that such an unprecedented humiliation caused his rage to erupt, and it practically burned away all his reason. Angel Fist. He shouted angrily. Spiritual chi burst out of his body and a pair of white wings grew out of his back. They gave off a holy white light and looked extremely noble. Pieces of white feathers even fell off and exploded with a white light. It was so bright that people could not open their eyes. He was like an angel descending to the world. His body was surging with terrifying bloodline power. Xia Ping, you only pushed me back a few steps. It doesn't mean you can beat me. Xiao Yishuan gritted his teeth. But you have completely angered me. I will show you the power of a king's bloodline and the power of invincibility. One punch. Just one punch and I will turn you into meat paste. His voice was like thunder, shaking the eardrums of the surrounding students and forcing them to take a dozen steps back. No way. This is the Xiao family's king-level technique, Angel Fist. This is a secret technique of the Xiao family. Even the library of Yanhuang University doesn't have it. I heard that this technique is one of the most powerful out of all the king-level techniques. It is many times more powerful than normal king-level techniques. Indeed, I heard that this cultivation method is called Meditation Angel, which is an ancient Western god. There are a total of 12 of those angels, which makes this cultivation method have 12 styles, and each style has infinite power. Angels are the same as Buddhas. They are all deities. Every angel represents the ultimate wish of mankind. Visualizing an angel will allow one to gain boundless power and bestow it upon oneself. Looks like Xia Ping is dead for sure. Once Xiao Yishuan uses Angel Fist, his combat power will be more than 10 times stronger. There are not many techniques that can compare to Angel Fist in the Cloud Realm. No matter how strong Xia Ping is, he can't block it. I think Xiao Yishuan is really angry and wants to teach Xia Ping a lesson to let him know how high the sky is. But Xia Ping was actually able to make Xiao Yishuan use this peerless technique. That's quite impressive. The surrounding students discussed spiritedly, and they all had a whole new level of respect for Xia Ping. In an instant, Xiao Yishuan punched out. The white wings on his back flapped, stirring up a huge gust of wind. His speed almost reached the sound barrier. As he punched out, white light covered his fist. Boom, a series of explosions sounded in the air, and a terrifying force burst out. The fist force condensed into a substance, and in the blink of an eye, his fist arrived in front of Xia Ping. If hit by this punch, even a rock weighing several hundred tons would be pulverized. Immovable Buddha palm. A cold glint appeared in Xia Ping's eyes. He immediately reacted and sent out a palm strike. His entire body was covered in golden light, and he looked like a Buddha that had descended into the world, containing shocking divine power. Bang! The collision between the angel power and the Buddha power was like a volcanic eruption. Suddenly, a terrifying force burst out, and a shockingly deep pit was blasted on the ground. Gravel flew everywhere. Some students nearby let out a scream and were sent flying by the powerful force. They flew for hundreds of meters before falling down. They could not help but spit out a mouthful of blood, and their faces were pale. Being hit by this force, both Xia Ping and Xiao Yishuan took more than 10 steps back. What? Xiao Yishuan could not help but widen his eyes. He did not expect such an outcome at all. He had clearly used the Xiao clan's unique technique, and such power should be invincible in the world. But now it was actually blocked by this kid. Even his fist felt numb and the blood in his body was tumbling. He also felt the Vajra power from his opponent. Although the scene seemed to be evenly matched, in fact he was already at a disadvantage. What made him most uncomfortable was that his opponent was only at the 7th heaven of the martial warrior realm, and was one realm higher than him. If this kid advanced to the 8th heaven of the martial warrior realm, wouldn't he be able to defeat him easily? Xiao Yishuan could not stand such an absurd thing at all. He shouted angrily, "Xiaping, go to hell." He madly urged the genuine qi in his body to stimulate his potential. He was going to risk his life. The air in the air was distorted, and a strange phenomenon appeared. An angel appeared on his back, riding a white flying horse with wings. It was like a god had descended. The entire ground could not withstand such an aura. The earth shook, the ground cracked, and some gravel rose up. With a bang, it was crushed into powder by the power. Sword of blazing angel. Xiao Yishuan's eyes were red, and his whole body was shaking. The genuine qi in his right hand condensed and turned into a sharp white sword. It was extremely sharp, and he wanted to smash it fiercely towards Xiaping. Once this move was used, even an ordinary expert at the 9th heaven of the martial warrior realm would be killed instantly. There was no chance of survival at all. Enough. Suddenly, a middle-aged man wearing a white coat flew out from the depths of the castle. He gently pointed his finger and cut through the sky. It contained a terrifying power and struck down from the sky. With a bang, the entire angelic phenomenon immediately collapsed, and there was a rustling sound. The white genuine qi dissipated and returned to Xiao Yishuan's body, causing him to take a few steps back. He could no longer use this move. Amazing! Xiaping's eyes shone. He could completely feel the power of this middle-aged man. He was simply unfathomable, like a grandmaster of a generation. He easily broke Xiao Yishuan's unparalleled unique skill, but did not injure Xiao Yishuan at all. It was enough to prove that this middle-aged man's control of genuine qi had reached the acme of perfection. Teacher Tianhai. Seeing the appearance of this middle-aged man in a white coat, Xiao Yishuan could not help but put away his arrogant expression and respectfully greeted him. It seemed that this teacher's position was extremely high. Even Xiao Yishuan, who was born in a king's clan, did not dare to show the slightest bit of disrespect to this teacher. "Hello, Teacher Tian." The surrounding students all greeted this teacher. Their attitude was very respectful, and some were even in fear. Silence. The middle-aged man in a white coat, Tianhai, had a dignified look in his eyes. He looked around and said, "Today's matter ends here. No one can fight in the school. This is the rule." "Yes, Teacher Tian." Xiao Yishuan was very unwilling. He clenched his fists, but since the teacher in front of him had already said such words, he could not resist. Otherwise the consequences would be very serious. The others also did not dare to have any disobedience. Wait. Chapter 347. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Hearing Xiaping's words, all the students present focused their eyes on Xiaping. At this time, what else did the culprit want to say? "You are Xiaping, the top freshman this year. You are indeed very capable. You are only in the 7th heaven of the martial artist realm, but you can fight evenly with Xiao Yishuan and even put him at a disadvantage. You are very talented." Tianhai looked at Xiaping, his eyes like torches, as if he wanted to see through Xiaping's secrets. "But why did you suddenly stop me? Is there any dissatisfaction with the way I handled it?" "Teacher, I'm not dissatisfied with the way you handled it. I'm just very dissatisfied with a few watchdogs." Xiaping pointed to the dozen senior students on the ground and said, "These senior students are tyrannical. Relying on their little power, they bully their classmates, bully the freshmen, and even openly try to kill me. According to the federal law, this kind of behavior is equivalent to murder. Even if I kill these arrogant senior students on the spot, the law will find me innocent. It is justifiable defense. Teacher, do you think this matter can be let go?" He directly expressed his dissatisfaction. What? Hearing these words, half of the faces of the older students present turned green. How could they not hear Xiaping's sinister intentions? This bastard not only wanted to cripple them, he also wanted to borrow the teacher's hand to kill them. He was extremely vicious. "Then what do you want?" Tianhai looked at Xiaping and did not express his position. Xiaping stood with his hands behind his back and said faintly, "Seeing that we are all students of Yanhuang University, and at the same time, all of you are my seniors, I won't take them to court and let them be shot by the police. But they can be spared from death, but they can't escape punishment. I want them to apologize to me and compensate each of them with 10,000 points. Only then can this matter be settled." He stated his request. Bullshit. Hearing this, one of the seniors was so angry that his nose became crooked. He immediately shouted, "You beat us up like this, and you should count yourself lucky if we don't ask for compensation from you. You still want us to apologize to you and compensate you with 10,000 points? Are you crazy?" That's right, that's right. This is basically the guilty party complaining first. We're the ones getting beaten up. You brat, nothing happened to you. Instead, we were beaten up by you and our legs were broken. You still have the nerve to ask us for compensation? Even bandits aren't as shameless as you. Apologize? I'll compensate your balls. What kind of victim apologizes to the perpetrator? You've lost your mind. I've lived for more than 20 years and I've never encountered such a thing. You want us to compensate you with 10,000 points? You're asking for too much. Do you know how hard it is to earn points? We've been carrying out missions and killing monsters non-stop. We've been working for a few months, but we didn't manage to save 10,000 points. You want to take away our 10,000 points with just a casual sentence? You're simply robbing us. The group of seniors cursed, and the other half of their faces had turned green. All of them glared angrily at Xiaoping, and they simply wished for nothing more than to skin Xiaoping alive. They'd never seen such a thick-skinned person in their entire lives. The surrounding students were also speechless. This was the first time they had seen the perpetrator being so arrogant. Furthermore, he was extorting money in front of the teacher. That's right. Xiao Yishuan also needs to apologize to me. Xiaoping ignored the older students and continued, he also attacked me indiscriminately. He's simply an accomplice of these murderers. He's taking the side of the evildoer. The circumstances of his crime are extremely serious and heinous. Although it's not a death sentence, he'll still be locked up for 8 to 10 years if he's caught. If he doesn't compensate, this matter won't be over. He pointed at Xiao Yishuan. I have to compensate too? Xiao Yishuan clenched his teeth and glared at Xiaoping. He'd never experienced such a thing in his entire life. There was actually someone who dared to ask him, a direct descendant of a king family, for compensation. This was too presumptuous. What's wrong? Don't think that you don't need to compensate just because you're from a king family. Xiaoping said in disdain. If Teacher Tian hadn't arrived in time, you would have been killed by my punch. You wouldn't even have the chance to stand here and talk. You should be grateful that I spared your life. Bastard. Do you think I'll lose to you? Xiao Yishuan was so angry that his face turned red. He clenched his fists and wanted to fight 300 rounds with Xiaoping to prove his true strength. However, Teacher Tianhai waved his hand and stopped him. He said calmly, compensate him. Teacher. Xiao Yishuan and the others were shocked. They looked at Tianhai and thought that Tianhai had also gone crazy. If you've thought it through, you can choose not to compensate. Tianhai said calmly, the Cloud Mist Mountains are about to open. This is a great opportunity. If you're sued by this brat, you'll definitely be involved in lawsuits and arrested by the police. Your freedom will be restricted. By then you'll definitely miss this opportunity. If you miss this opportunity, it'll be almost impossible for you to have a next time. Especially you seniors. If you can't advance to the martial master realm within a year, you'll have to graduate and leave the school. You'll never have the chance to enter the Cloud Mist Mountains again. By then, even if you win the lawsuit, it'll be useless. What? Hearing this, the seniors' expressions changed. They suddenly thought of this matter. They'd already stayed in the school for 4 years and still hadn't advanced to the martial master realm. If they missed this opportunity, there wouldn't be another one. Xiao Yishuan's expression was also gloomy. However, his expression wasn't as firm as before. He also thought of this matter. Cloud Mist Mountains? What the hell is this place? Xiaoping touched his chin. It seems that stopping you from entering the Cloud Mist Mountains without compensation is also a very interesting thing. He instinctively felt that the Cloud Mist Mountains was an extremely important place. Otherwise, these seniors wouldn't be in such a difficult position. Shut up. One of the seniors' expression changed. Xiaoping, don't go too far. You should know your limits. That's right, that's right. You can't go back on your word. If you go back on your word, you're a despicable person. If this matter spreads out, no one will be friends with you. Your reputation will be worse than dog shit. If you dare to do this, I'll fight it out with you. I won't let you off even if I become a ghost. One by one, the seniors shouted in fear. They were afraid that Xiaoping would change his mind. If they couldn't enter the Cloud Mist Mountains, it would be worse than losing 10,000 points. It would be as if they'd ruined their future. Xiaoping looked at Mr. Tianhai. Tianhai seemed to be looking at him calmly, as if warning him not to go too far. Xiaoping immediately made a decision. It was not bad to be able to get so much compensation. Chapter 348. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. After settling this matter peacefully, the group of senior students also left. They went to the nearby hospital intending to treat their injuries. Some other students who were accidentally injured were also sent to the hospital. Xiao Yishuan's face was gloomy. He looked at Xia Ping deeply as if he wanted to remember Xia Ping's appearance. However, he did not say anything and left silently. I actually got 150,000 points in one go. Xia Ping smiled and felt comfortable. He got more than 100,000 points from the group of senior students and Xiao Yishuan. If he went out to train and kill monsters, he did not know how long it would take to earn so much. However, such a good thing would probably only happen once. Okay, this matter has been settled. You can go back. Tianhai waved his hand and sent Xia Ping and the others away. Xia Ping stepped forward. Teacher, wait. What else do you want? Tianhai stopped and looked at Xia Ping. Xia Ping said, this time I came to the elixir department to find an alchemy master and ask him to help me refine elixir. What elixir do you want to refine? Tianhai raised his eyebrows. With a snap, Xia Ping immediately took out a xianin fruit and said straightforwardly, xianin pill. Good guy. Tianhai's eyes revealed a glimmer of light as he clicked his tongue in admiration. I didn't think that you would be able to find such a rare fruit. As expected, you are truly blessed. If you want to refine the mysterious yin pill, just look for me. However, you will need 40,000 points. He said a number. No problem. Xia Ping waved his hand. He had already looked it up on the internet. This was indeed the number of points needed to refine the mysterious yin pill. Moreover, he had obtained 150,000 points at once. Adding the 200,000 points from before, a mere 40,000 points was just a drop in the bucket. Tomorrow morning I will send the refined xianin pill to your villa. Tianhai said concisely. He took the xianin fruit from Xia Ping and signed a simple alchemy agreement with Xia Ping. Then he turned and walked into the castle. Xia Ping was very satisfied. As long as he refined xianin pill, he would be promoted to the 8th heaven of the martial artist realm. Go back. Since there was nothing else to do in the medical department, Xia Ping turned around and left. Half an hour later he took the school bus back to his villa. With a snap, he opened the internet and wanted to browse the school forum for the day. However, he realized that no one knew about his battle with Xiao Yishuan and the others. It was as if nothing had happened. Is it because the time is too short that no one has sent it yet? Xia Ping's eyes flickered. Or could it be that someone exerted pressure to prevent anyone from leaking this matter? After all, to Xiao Yishuan and the other seniors, this matter was extremely embarrassing. It was not an exaggeration to say that it was a humiliation. Naturally, they did not want this matter to be leaked out. It was highly possible that it would exert pressure on the surrounding audience. Over time, this matter would be considered a thing of the past, and they would not suffer any damage to their reputation. Do you want to hide this matter completely? How can there be such a good thing? If no one is going to expose it, then let me do it. Xia Ping touched his chin, his eyes flashing. He felt that this was an excellent opportunity. If he leaked this matter, it would definitely arouse great hatred from Xiao Yishuan and the others. After all, this was basically slapping them in the face and making them lose all face. He could even use this opportunity to provoke the hatred of other students. Then, he would be able to gain a large amount of hatred. He would not let go of any opportunity to gain hatred. Thinking of this, Xia Ping immediately acted. No one knew how to hype up a topic better than him. Thus, he immediately registered an account and posted on the school forum. Shocking. The descendants of kings are nothing more than this. Xiao Yishuan has suffered a crushing defeat in his life. A group of seniors were tyrannical, but they were beaten up, crying and kneeling on the ground, begging for mercy. What is the truth of the matter? Revealed. Xiao Yishuan is actually such a person. Men are silent when they see him, and women cry when they see him. This matter is extremely important, but 99% of the people still don't know about it. If you don't come to see it, it will be a great loss. He posted on the school forum one after another, creating shocking titles. At the same time, he also wrote about what happened today, describing the conflict with Xiao Yishuan and the others. He even registered a few sock puppets to hype up the topic below the post. It can't be. Is this true or false? Even Xiao Yishuan was defeated and beaten up on the spot. Didn't they say he was called the top freshman? If it's true, who did it? It's terrifying to think about it. If Xiao Yishuan was defeated, doesn't that mean he's just a fake? He doesn't have much strength at all, and it's all exaggerated. The king families are just a joke. Only their fathers are a little powerful. Their descendants are all useless. This is what they mean by, like father, like son. It can't be helped. Even if he has a good father, it doesn't mean he'll definitely become someone great. In history, it's rare to see those rich second generations, powerful second generations, and second generations of kings cheat their fathers. History can be a lesson. A few sock puppets lamented under the post, secretly belittling Xiao Yishuan. Instantly, a group of students saw these posts and went into an uproar. There was a huge commotion, especially some of Xiao Yishuan's fans who were so angry that they went crazy. Impossible. Do you know who Xiao Yishuan is? He's the descendant of a king and has the bloodline of the Pegasus. He's an expert in the 8th heaven of the martial artist realm. He's extremely powerful. Even some of the older students aren't his match. Only elite students can defeat him. How could he be defeated and beaten up by others? It's fake. These contents are definitely fake. Xiao Yishuan has been defeated. This is a huge joke. That's right. Don't speak nonsense. You should know that slander is a serious crime. If Xiao Yishuan takes you to court, you'll be in deep trouble. More than 10 senior students were beaten up? What a joke. Do you really think that those senior students are all vegetarians? They can be defeated so easily and still cry. The post owner has completely gone crazy. He needs medicine to be treated. If the post owner has the guts, tell me your address. I promise I won't beat you to death. Everyone quickly repost 500 posts. Send the post owner to jail. Spreading rumors is a serious crime. He wants to be famous and play to the gallery. We'll fulfill his wish. A group of students sneered and replied. They didn't believe these posts at all. They thought that Xiao Yishuan would be defeated. This was simply unimaginable. It was a huge joke. Chapter 349. In just half an hour, these posts were completely hyped up. There were tens of thousands of replies and millions of clicks. It had already become the hottest topic on the school forum. However, most of the content was criticizing the OP, saying that he was simply spreading rumors and slandering him. Some students were lurking and watching silently. Xia Ping saw that it was about time and his popularity was very high. He started to release the second bombshell, which was the photos of Xiao Yishuan and many other seniors being beaten up by him. All of them looked terrible. These photos were taken secretly by Xia Ping using his smartwatch. His goal was to preserve the evidence and gain an advantageous position. However, now that everything was settled, it was useless. He might as well put it on the website. What the OP said is true. I was at the scene and even took many photos as evidence. If you don't believe me, you can take a look. Xia Ping immediately registered a second sock puppet and made a post. At the same time, he also uploaded some photos. These photos were also carefully selected. There were photos of more than 10 seniors being beaten to the ground. There were also photos of Xiao Yishuan being punched by him and coughing up blood on the spot, looking flustered and exasperated. Immediately, the entire forum was in an uproar. Now that the evidence was conclusive and even the photos were out, no one could deny it. Seems like everything the OP said is true. Some idiot said that the OP was spreading rumors and even wanted to forward 500 posts to send the OP to jail. Who's spreading rumors now? That's right. They're all idiots. Who do you think the OP is? Would he say something like that without absolute confidence? Now that the evidence is conclusive, what else do you have to say? All of you are bragging here, saying that Xiao Yishuan is some powerful martial artist and is invincible. You even bragged about some king bloodline. Now are you still bragging? Try bragging again. It's no wonder that some people are so arrogant. They are purely frogs at the bottom of a well and have never seen the world. They think that just because they see an expert, they are invincible in the world. They don't know that the world is very big. I don't even know how he got into Yanhuang University. He's so narrow-minded. Could he have gotten in through the back door? A few of Xia Ping's sock puppets immediately mocked and ridiculed the people in the post, beating the dogs when they were down. Instantly, some students went crazy with anger, especially Xiao Yishuan's fans who went crazy. Shut up. Who's the frog at the bottom of the well? Don't you know how to speak? So what if there are photos? In this day and age, is technology counterfeiting still a strange thing? I can guarantee that these photos were all forged by the original poster, and the purpose was to please the public. Indeed, no wonder I felt that these photos were a little unnatural. So they were all forged. They used exquisite photo retouching techniques to forge photos that looked flawless. Despicable and shameless poster. Do you think you can humiliate Xiao Yishuan with some fake photos? Let me tell you, this is simply wishful thinking. To be able to do such a despicable thing, one can only imagine the character of the Tower Master. He's definitely jealous. The original poster is definitely a loser who was defeated by Xiao Yishuan. He couldn't defeat Xiao Yishuan in real life, so he purposely came to the internet to spread rumors to tarnish Xiao Yishuan's reputation. He has evil intentions. The human heart is really ugly. It's actually twisted to such an extent. When people are jealous, they can really do anything. All of Xiao Yishuan's fans fought back with all their might. Even if there were photos, they definitely wouldn't admit it. They even thought that these photos were simply forged using technology. Instead, they slandered the original poster for being jealous. No matter what, they definitely wouldn't believe such a thing because it was really too ridiculous. No, this is indeed true. I was there at that time. The person who defeated Xiao Yishuan was the legendary fake Xia Ping. I was dumbfounded and couldn't say anything for a long time. The forum was very popular. Finally, a witness couldn't help but jump out and post a reply. Indeed, I was there at that time too. That scene was very shocking. More than 10 senior students joined hands to fight Xia Ping, but they were all defeated by him. They were beaten to the ground like dead dogs. He was so strong that it was a complete mess. Later on, Xiao Yishuan also appeared. I have to say that Xiao Yishuan was also very strong, as expected of someone with king bloodline. However, he still wasn't Xia Ping's opponent. He was beaten until he coughed up blood on the spot. If the teacher hadn't arrived in time, Xiao Yishuan would probably have been sent to the hospital. I have to say that Xia Ping is the true number one among the freshmen this time. No one is his opponent. Originally, we shouldn't have leaked these words because we were warned by the Xiao clan and the teacher that this matter shouldn't be spoken of casually. However, now that it has become so big, it doesn't matter even if we say it out. I also recorded a video. If you don't believe me, I can upload it for you to see later. Witnesses appeared one after another. They could be said to have been suppressed to the point where they couldn't say a secret. This kind of feeling was very uncomfortable. They had to say it now. However, this topic on the forum was very popular. Although they didn't know who leaked it, since there was someone who stood out, they wouldn't have any scruples. Even if they wanted to find trouble, it wouldn't be them. Therefore, all of them didn't have any scruples. Yeah, it's true. I was in the medical department just now and saw the dozen or so senior students who were beaten up. They are now receiving treatment. A student who was undercover in the medical department also replied, telling him what he had seen and heard in the hospital. It seems like Xiao Yishuan also appeared in the hospital. Although his injuries aren't very serious, he also received emergency treatment. Some other students seemed to be unlucky and were also sent to the hospital for treatment. Information spread out from the medical department. With the power of the people, all the truth was revealed. Nothing could be hidden. Ah, the truth is right here. What else do you have to say? Keep bragging. You even said that the picture was fake. Then may I ask if it's fake now? You're still stubborn. You have nothing to say now, right? If you ask me, how is this stubborn? It's clearly that you won't shed tears until you see the coffin. Previously you said that Xiao Yishuan is the strongest among the freshmen. Now you still have the face to say no. Who said that Xia Ping is a fake? Which idiot was it? Even Xiao Yishuan was beaten to the point that he vomited blood. He easily sent a group of senior students to the hospital. If such strength isn't number one, who can be number one? A few of Xia Ping's sock puppets kept bragging. Damn it. Chapter 350. Many students from Yanhuang University were attracted by the unprecedented atmosphere on the forum. The number of hits had exceeded 10 million, and the number of replies had reached hundreds of thousands. Xia Ping immediately knew that the time had come. So, he used his real account and posted with his original identity. I'm Xia Ping. I didn't know what happened at first, but a friend called me up. Only then did I find out that the whole forum was discussing what happened today. But there's nothing much to say. It's pretty much the same as what everyone knows. There were more than a dozen senior students who wanted to fight me like mad dogs, but I easily defeated them. It was a horrible sight. That Xiao Yishuan actually dared to stand up for these senior students. Everyone saw the result. If the teacher hadn't appeared in time, I'm afraid he would have been lying in the hospital for a month. Now he's only lightly injured. That's too easy for him. I hope he learns his lesson next time and doesn't overestimate himself. He wrote a large pile of content at great length. Suddenly, the whole forum was shocked by this post because they didn't expect that even the real person would come to the forum. What could be more eye-catching than the person involved? Big Brother Xia, you're amazing. I didn't expect that even Xiao Yixuan, who has been cultivating at Yanhuang University for a few years, was no match for you. He was defeated by you in one move. Aren't you invincible? Before, the students from the Cloud Realm were bragging that they were invincible. They said that Big Brother Xia, you're just a fake and that you got first place through the back door. Who still has the face to say such things now? How dare they? Even Xiao Yixuan, who is recognized as the top disciple of the Cloud Realm, was defeated by Big Brother Xia. He had to rely on the teacher to save his face. The students from the Cloud Realm are a bit thick-skinned, but they're not that shameless. Who's the fake and who's the real one? The result is clear. Facts speak louder than words. 5 or 6 accounts of Xia Ping went online and shamelessly flattered him under the post. Xia Ping blushed a little. Fortunately, no one saw it, so he could still bear it. You're too kind. It's all because of everyone's praise. In fact, it's not that I'm very strong. It's just that Xiao Yixuan and the others are too weak. That's why I'm so strong. Please don't misunderstand. Xia Ping's own account replied with a humble look. Big Brother Xia is not only highly skilled in martial arts, but he is also humble and low-key. He's really a role model for our generation. Compared to that Xiao Yixuan, that kid is miles behind. First of all, he can't be a good person. I think it's not just Xiao Yixuan who's like this. All the students in the Cloud Realm have the same problem. They're all arrogant and boastful. If they drink a few bottles of white wine, I'm sure they'll brag until the next day. They'll make you doubt your life. That's right. That makes sense. I also deeply feel that they have this kind of problem. They don't have much ability, and they love to brag all day long. Big Brother Xia used to stay in planet Yanhuang, a place with poor resources. He didn't receive sufficient training, so his progress was a little slower than that of the students of Cloud Realm. But now it's different. Everyone is standing on the same starting line and enjoying the same resources. The gap between him and the students of Cloud Realm is obvious. He suddenly caught up with the cultivation of the students of Cloud Realm and even began to surpass them. This is the true potential of the students born in planet Yanhuang. As long as there are enough resources, the students born in Cloud Realm are nothing. I guarantee that their cultivation speed will be so fast that they will doubt their life. I even suspect that those students with royal bloodline are actually some fake goods. Their cultivation speed is so fast that they all rely on taking pills. If they don't take pills, their true colors will be revealed. Xia Ping was very insidious. Several of his sock puppet accounts were constantly sowing discord, stirring up conflict between the students of Cloud Realm and planet Yanhuang, which would definitely cause a lot of hatred. Sure enough, seeing these replies, a group of students of Cloud Realm suddenly became like cats whose tails had been stepped on. All of them stood up, not to mention how angry they were. Modest my ass. I don't see any punctuation marks of this kid being modest from the beginning to the end. Laozi has never seen anyone more arrogant than this Xia Ping. This idiom was clearly created for him. That's right. The bastard from planet Yanhuang also has this face. Isn't it just that his cultivation speed is a little faster? How dare he brag here? Who is bragging here? I'm illiterate. I really can't see it. A guy from a poor and remote place wants to be compared with the elites of our Cloud Realm. It's ridiculous. Those students with royal bloodline, which one of them is not a tyrannical warrior, their battle records are real. How dare someone question that they are fake goods? If you have the ability, come out and let's spar. You still dare to say that our strength came from popping pills? I'll pop your face. Do you know how hard we've been cultivating? Have you ever seen Yanhuang University at 4 in the morning? A group of students from Cloud Realm scolded loudly, very unconvinced. Although they also occupied a lot of resources, they usually cultivated very hard. After all, there were too many geniuses in Cloud Realm, so they would be eliminated if they worked hard. But now, this group of bastards from planet Yanhuang actually despised them like this, saying that they were all fake goods and that their cultivation was based on taking pills. Who could tolerate this kind of thing? Don't blame us for attacking you. First of all, wasn't Xiao Yixuan defeated by Big Brother Xia? It is said that he was so scared that he cried at the time. If the teacher hadn't come in time, I'm afraid that kid would have been miserable. That's right. Facts speak louder than words. Big Brother Xia has only been in Cloud Realm for a short period of time, but he has already beaten the students of your Cloud Realm. This is ironclad evidence. Do you still need other evidence? Big Brother Xia doesn't even have a royal bloodline. He is just an ordinary human, but he can defeat you easily. It is completely imaginable the level of education you have. I never lie. To tell you the truth, if you don't take pills, you are just a dish. The enemy can eat whatever they want and they don't even need to pick their teeth. A group of students from planet Yanhuang shouted, desperately attacking the group of students from Cloud Realm. After coming to Cloud Realm, they were all discriminated against and had a low status. They didn't know how sullen they were. It was rare to have a chance to trample on the students of Cloud Realm. How could they let go of such an opportunity? Don't be so angry. Chapter 351. It would have been better if Xiaoping didn't say this, but his words only added fuel to the fire. Shameless Xiaoping, who's the one with low qualifications. Say it again if you have the guts. Don't discriminate against us? What right do you have to discriminate against us? What right do you have to discriminate against us? Have you never seen a country bumpkin discriminate against a city bumpkin? Xiaoping, get out of here immediately. I promise I won't kill you. Do you think you're invincible just because you defeated a few seniors? Yanhuang University is full of hidden dragons and crouching tigers. There are a lot of people who can defeat you. Do you know that? A villain intoxicated by success. This is clearly a villain intoxicated by success. I've never seen such an angry person. He's shameless to the extreme. One by one, the Sky Realm students were so angry that they wanted to beat Xiaoping up. They had never been discriminated against like this in their lives. This was the first time. However, before Xiaoping could scold back, the students from Yanhuang Planet immediately helped to scold back. Now Xiaoping was the hero of Yanhuang Planet. Now that he defeated Xiao Yishuan, it was unknown how much face he had gained for Yanhuang Planet. How could they stand being maliciously abused by the Sky Realm students? They spat back one by one. In just an hour, the number of posts on the forum had reached 89,800, with more than 100 million hits. Almost all the students in the university, including the seniors, were involved. The direction of their abuse began to deviate from the track. From the ancestors to the grandchildren, from outer space to the womb, it was simply a war without gunpowder. Because the content of the abuse was too intense and violated the forum rules, 79,897 accounts were blocked and banned for a week. The administrator deleted the posts until his hands were tired, almost causing the background system to crash. Because some students couldn't scold them, they actually used technical means, constantly spamming posts and planting Trojan viruses. Many people were so angry that they clamored on the spot. If you have the guts, come out and practice now. Don't talk on the internet all day long. Once you come out, I guarantee that even your mother won't recognize you. Xiaoping, the initiator, had already left the forum, turned off the lights and rested. Because his purpose had already been achieved, there was no need for him to continue to sow discord. Once this kind of emotion was stirred up, it was like a wild horse that was out of control. Soon, the news also reached the ears of the dozen or so senior students who had been beaten. Because the group of students was curious about whether the things on the forum were true, they all came to the hospital for sightseeing. They looked at the group of senior students as if they were looking at pandas. For a time, the outside of the ward was bustling with activity. How tragic. It's beyond recognition. I didn't expect the things on the forum to be true. I thought it was a joke. He has been studying at Yanhuang University for several years and has reached the 9th heaven of the martial artist realm. How could he be beaten by a freshman who has just entered the university? Although Yanhuang University is full of crouching tigers and hidden dragons, it's not like there aren't any good ones. Occasionally there are some people who are just here to make up the numbers. Fucking Xiaoping, his luck is too good. He actually met a few inferior seniors and made him famous in one fell swoop. There are no heroes in this era. It's time to let a kid become famous. One by one, the students gritted their teeth. They were all very unwilling. They looked at the group of senior students with eyes full of contempt. If it weren't for these inferior students, how could the reputation of their Yunxiao realm students be shamed? When the senior students heard these words, their faces turned completely green. They were so angry that they trembled all over. When did they become inferior students? This was too much of a bully. Xiaoping, we're not finished with you. A group of senior students roared to the sky. Their faces were flushed and they were extremely aggrieved. They couldn't speak of such bitterness. Xiao Yishuan also heard about this. His face was as gloomy as ink. He didn't say anything, but the furniture in the villa where he lived seemed to have been smashed. The scene was very cruel. Early the next morning, the sun shone in through the window. It was very warm. Xiaoping stretched his body and finally got up. Congratulations to the host. Last night, you gained a lot of hatred and public anger. The voice of the system sounded. Xiaoping touched his chin. System, how much hatred do I have now? At present, the host has a total of 450,000 hatred points. The system replied, I hope the host will work hard and increase the hatred points. If the hatred points reach 1 million, there will be a system gift package. What? Xiaoping was overjoyed when he heard this. He clearly remembered that he had obtained the pure young immortal incantation the first time he had obtained the big gift pack. It was extremely powerful, and he felt that it was even more powerful than the king-level incantation. If he could get a big gift package, then he would probably be rich. What kind of big gift package is it? Xiaoping asked impatiently. The system said coldly, no comment. Forget it. Xiaoping waved his hand. He also knew that the system had no intelligence. It was just a program. It only followed the program. No matter how much he asked, there was no result. Ding dong, suddenly the doorbell rang outside the villa, and a young man in green clothes appeared at the door. Who is it? Xiaoping immediately turned on the virtual projection through his smartwatch and contacted the person outside. The man in green clothes immediately said, Mr. Xia, the pill you ordered at the pill department yesterday has been successfully refined. Please come out and sign for it. He held a white bottle in his hand. The Shenin pill has been successfully refined? It's so efficient. Xiaoping immediately went out and signed for the package with the man in green clothes. He immediately took the white bottle and entered the quiet room of the villa. He opened the white bottle and immediately revealed 3 silver pills. They immediately emitted a rich elixir fragrance, and faintly emitted a silver-white light. Such a rich and majestic elixir, worthy of being called the Shenin pill. Xiaoping was very happy. He felt that spending 40,000 points and sending the Shenin fruit was indeed the right choice. Gulp, without saying anything, Xiaoping immediately swallowed a Shenin pill. The Shenin pill immediately entered his stomach, and Xiaoping operated the pure young immortal art. His stomach was like a furnace and it completely refined the Shenin pill. Voila! Soon the Shenin pill stimulated the endless elixir, and transformed into majestic qi, which flowed through Xiaoping's meridians and flowed into the 7th acupuncture point of his body. His whole body seemed to be bathed in the silver moonlight. Every cell of his was greedily absorbing the energy that was similar to the essence of the moon, and his vitality was constantly strengthening. Not enough, completely not enough. Xiaoping suddenly swallowed the remaining 2 Shenin pills. Immediately, majestic energy surged out, and his qi surged like a raging wave. Boom! When the qi in Xiaoping's body reached its peak, and the qi in the 7th acupuncture point reached its peak, the door of the 8th acupuncture point was finally broken. This was simply irresistible. Chapter 352. Rumble. Xiaoping felt that after he had opened 8 acupoints, the essence of heaven and earth frantically rushed into his body into the 8th acupoint and quickly transformed into majestic vital energy. At the same time, every inch of his muscles was strengthened, every bone became harder, and even every meridian was expanding to accommodate even more majestic vital energy. Just breathing seemed to form the sound of wind and thunder, like a dormant ancient beast. Xiaoping felt that every move he made was filled with terrifying power. Bang! Xiaoping punched out and the air exploded as if even the air had been pierced through. The fist force shot out in all directions and the wall in front of the quiet room, which was made of titanium alloy, immediately had a fist imprint on it. Kacha kacha. What a strong power. He could not help but clench his fists. He felt that his physical strength had increased by 50% and was much stronger than before. Not only did the strength of his vital energy increase, but even his mental strength had also increased. The area within a radius of 700 to 800 meters was under his mental control. He could even sense the gravel, dust, and other things in the air clearly. His control over his strength had also become more exquisite. What's going on? Xiaoping was shocked. When the mental strength and vital energy in his body were concentrated to the extreme, the vital energy seemed to have undergone a completely different change. Under the high concentration, the vital energy began to slowly transform into a dark red mist and even condense into a liquid. He felt that the power contained in this liquid vital energy seemed to be more than 10 times stronger than the destructive power of the gaseous vital energy. It can't be. Is this the power of vital energy? Isn't it said that it can only be obtained after advancing to the martial master realm? Xiaoping felt the changes in his body and could not help but be shocked. The most obvious change in advancing from the martial warrior realm to the martial master realm was the liquefaction of the vital energy and the evolution into vital energy. This was because the martial master realm possessed the power of vital energy. Be it speed or destructive power, it was 10 times or even more than 10 times that of an ordinary expert in the ninth heaven of the martial warrior realm. However, in order to possess vital energy, the vital energy in the body had to be transformed. Only when it was concentrated to the extreme would it evolve from vital energy to vital energy. This was a qualitative change. Although the true qi in Xiaoping's body had only liquefied a little bit, it was still in its embryonic form. If this matter were to spread out, it was unknown how many people would be scared to death. He already had the power of quintessential essence at the eighth heaven of the martial warrior realm. In other words, there was no bottleneck for Xiaoping in the martial master realm. Once he reached the peak of the ninth heaven of the martial warrior realm, he could immediately break through to the martial master realm. Could it be related to the pure yang immortal art? Xiaoping's eyes lit up. He knew that this technique was extraordinary. Even a king-level technique couldn't compare to it. After all, this was a cultivation technique that could devour the sun's energy. If an ordinary martial artist dared to absorb the sun's energy into their body, they would immediately be burned to ashes. How could it be used for their own use? However, he did not expect that at the eighth heaven of the martial artist realm, he would begin to liquefy his true qi and slowly transform it into true essence. If he advanced to the ninth heaven of the martial artist realm and completely liquefied the genuine qi in his body, he would naturally be able to step into the martial master realm without any bottlenecks. It can't be this power? Xiaoping subconsciously moved and operated the pure yang immortal art. Immediately, a strong force of genuine qi gushed out of his right fist. Immediately, a dark red flame appeared and wrapped around his right fist. Subconsciously he punched out. Immediately, a terrifying flame erupted and formed a flaming fist. He punched out from hundreds of meters away. Bang! The fist smashed hard on the wall. The flame vibrated and suddenly, a huge fist print was blasted out, creating a dent. Even the dark red flame burned wildly, and the surrounding temperature rose sharply. Immediately, the titanium alloy on the wall was liquefied by the terrifying temperature and burned into liquid. The liquid dripped onto the ground, creating holes and white smoke. Elemental change. This is the elemental change that comes with quintessential essence. I can control the power of flames. Xiaoping was immediately overjoyed. He deeply felt the horror of this punch. Not only did the power increase several times, but more importantly, it was accompanied by a flame attack. If an ordinary martial artist was hit by this punch, they would immediately be burned to ashes and easily killed. Why was the martial master realm so tyrannical that it had been called a master realm martial artist by humans in the world? Even university teachers were only at this level of cultivation. It was not just because of the power of genuine essence. More importantly, after advancing to the martial master realm, the elemental power of the main cultivation method began to show. Some martial artists could control ice and snow, and with one punch they could freeze 1,000 miles. Some could control fire, and with one punch they could turn 100 miles into molten lava. Some could control airflow, and in one day they could fly tens of thousands of miles. With these elemental powers, the martial master realm was 10 times stronger than the martial artist realm, or even dozens of times or even hundreds of times stronger. This was the real master realm expert, who was above countless martial artists and could be called a general, commanding thousands of subordinates. Xiaoping also remembered that when he was in the Beast Island trial, he had seen the attack of his teacher, Qiushu. With one palm, a group of criminals was completely frozen and turned into ice men. This was the power of controlling ice and snow. This was at least the power of a martial master realm expert. It was so strong that it made one's hair stand on end. However, Qiushu could actually control ice and snow, and these criminals were only frozen and not killed. Clearly, the precision of the power control was extraordinary. It was definitely not something an ordinary martial master realm expert could compare with. However, not every martial master was so tyrannical. For example, among the martial artists who could control fire, some could only reach a temperature of 100 degrees, some could reach a few hundred degrees, and some could reach 1,000 or 10,000 degrees. This was related to the main cultivation method. The more powerful the cultivation method, the more powerful the attack power that could be displayed. Xiaoping was only at the 8th heaven of the martial artist realm, but he could liquefy his genuine qi and use a little bit of the power of fire, which was enough to melt metal. From this, one could see how terrifying this cultivation method was. It was not something an ordinary cultivation method could compare with. However, the power of genuine essence is still too little. Xiaoping discovered that with just one punch, the power of genuine essence in his body was exhausted. This meant that he could only use this kind of martial master level attack once. After that, his genuine essence would be used up. He would need a period of time to convert it back. However, if he continued to become stronger and the power of his genuine essence increased greatly, then he could easily control this power. Continue to cultivate. Thinking of this, Xiaoping was excited. He had just advanced to the 8th heaven of the martial artist realm, and his cultivation had not been stabilized. He needed to properly stabilize it. Who knows, he might be able to liquefy more genuine qi. Once he cultivated, an entire day passed. No one in the outside world knew that Xiaoping had advanced to the 8th heaven of the martial artist realm. At night, Xiaoping's communication device rang. Chapter 353. Big brother, something big happened on the school forum. I wonder if you know. After picking up the phone, Feng Hatong couldn't wait to ask. Something happened? What happened? Xiaoping blinked his eyes. He had been in seclusion for a day, so he basically didn't know what happened in the outside world. Last night, big brother, you provoked fights everywhere. As a result, many students were dissatisfied. Even some senior students have a lot of opinions about you. They think that you are too arrogant and need to be taught a lesson. Feng Hatong immediately said, as a result, the president of the Kendo Club, Mu Haoren, said that he would personally deal with you to let you know the rules of Yanhuang University. Not only the president of the Kendo Club but also the Fist Technique Club, Saber Technique Club, Concealed Weapon Club, Spear Technique Club, Staff Technique Club, and other martial arts clubs have openly challenged you, saying that they will beat you up every time they see you outside. He said these things in one breath. There is such a thing? Xiaoping raised his eyebrows. He knew that there were many clubs in Yanhuang University. These clubs had a long history and were all joined by outstanding students of Yanhuang University. Even powerful clubs could occupy a training hall and have huge cultivation resources, which attracted students to join. Among them, the club president was the elite of the elite, at least at the peak of the 9th level of the martial artist realm. Of course, there were no martial masters in the club. These people had become elite students and entered the elite area, so they would not cultivate in this place. Big brother, no matter what, go to the school forum and you will soon know what happened. Feng Hatong shouted, those guys are extremely hateful and it seems that they want to join forces to deal with you. With a snap, Xiaoping hung up the phone. He immediately opened the network, projected a virtual image and immediately went to the school forum. As expected, he saw a popular post posted by the president of the Kendo Club, Mu Haoren. Mu Haoren immediately said, originally, I didn't want to come out. After all, he's just a freshman. It is normal for him to be ignorant, but he dared to say that there is no one in the cloud world. I can't tolerate this. Let that Xiaoping come out. I can defeat him with one sword strike and kill him with 2 swords. Don't think you're so great just because you defeated Xiao Yishuan. He's just a new student, and he wants to act like a tyrant in Yanhuang University? This kid isn't qualified. His tone was extremely domineering, making it clear that Xiaoping wasn't his opponent. If he couldn't defeat him with a single strike, then it would be considered his loss. Immediately, many students were in an uproar and thousands of waves were set off. I didn't expect that Mu Haoren, the president of the Kendo Club, would be provoked this time. It seems that Xiaoping is in trouble. I'm not optimistic about Mu Haoren. Think about what kind of person Xiao Yishuan is. He is an expert at the 8th heaven of the martial artist realm and has the bloodline of the Pegasus. Even an ordinary 9th heaven of the martial artist realm is no match for him. However, such a person was defeated by Xiaoping. I'm afraid that Mu Haoren might not be able to deal with Xiaoping as he wishes. Indeed, you didn't see the video. More than a dozen senior students were easily defeated by Xiaoping. Among them, there were many experts in the 9th heaven of the martial artist realm. It's not that easy to deal with Xiaoping. At that time, if I can't defeat Xiaoping and am easily defeated instead, it would be embarrassing. A group of students were talking about it. Some people felt that Mu Haoren was too confident and felt that he might not have the confidence to win against Xiaoping. No matter what, Xiaoping had a record. I can tell that you are freshmen at first glance. You don't know how powerful Mu Haoren, the president of the Kendo Club, is. A senior student immediately jumped out. He is a true master of sword arts. His talent is no less than that of Xiao Yishuan. He has reached the peak of the 9th heaven of the martial artist realm. He can be called an invincible existence in the martial artist realm. No one is his opponent. Xiaoping is nothing. If he is really so powerful, why is he only at the 9th heaven of the martial artist realm now? I look at his resume. He is already a third-year student. Isn't his progress too slow? Someone questioned Mu Haoran's strength. Everyone expressed their agreement. If he was a real expert, he would have been promoted to the martial master realm long ago. There was no way he would still be in the martial artist realm after 3 years. This proved that his talent was not good. The senior student said with contempt, "You know nothing. If Mu Haoran wanted to advance, he would have done so long ago. 3 years ago, he was already an expert at the peak of the 9th heaven of the martial artist realm. The reason why he hasn't broken through is that he has been suppressing his cultivation. His purpose is to enter the Cloud Mountain Range." He revealed some secrets about Mu Haoran. Cloud Mountain Range? I have often heard some seniors talk about this before. What is this place? Many people asked curiously. They did not know much about this place. Xiaoping was also very curious. When he was in the elixir department, he had heard the teacher talk about the Cloud Mountain Range. Those senior students seemed to value it very much. The Cloud Mountain Range is a relic of the Cloud Realm. The senior said in a deep voice, "You may not know this, but a long time ago there were humans in the Cloud Realm. At that time, there were many almighty martial Dao experts and even deity realm experts who fought against the demon clan. It was a legendary era. There were many experts. They were many times stronger than they are now. However, I don't know what happened, but it led to the extinction of the humans in the Cloud Realm. Even the demon clan suffered heavy losses. The experts at the divine level disappeared in the long river of history. Even so, there are still many mysterious relics left in the Cloud Realm. The Cloud Mist Mountain Range is one of them. There are countless treasures inside," Yi Futian said. He told the story in detail. Countless treasures? Xiaoping's curiosity was piqued. The other freshmen were also itching to find out the secret within. The senior student did not keep them in suspense. He continued, "The most precious thing in the Cloud Mountain Range is the water of life. There is a spring of life there that can continuously produce the water of life. If you can obtain a large amount of the water of life, you can immediately strengthen your physique, enhance your aptitude, and increase a large amount of life energy. The benefits are endless. It can even raise a warrior with ordinary aptitude to the level of a genius. For people with royal bloodlines, the water of life is even more precious. It can also purify the concentration of the bloodline and produce the phenomenon of ancestral atavism. Once you get it, you can simply soar to the sky." In order to obtain the water of life in the Cloud Mountain Range, Mu Haoran forcibly suppressed his cultivation for 3 years. You can imagine how determined he was. Chapter 354. Water of Life. Xiaoping's eyes flickered. If he could get the water of life to strengthen his physique and establish his martial arts foundation, his future would be limitless. Advancing to the King Realm would be a sure thing. After all, he remembered that on the homepage of the giant company, a portion of water of life was worth hundreds of billions of federal coins. It was an extremely precious treasure that ordinary people could not obtain. "But senior, you have said so much, but you still haven't explained why he suppressed his cultivation for 3 years. A freshman asked the key question. The senior said in a deep voice, "It's very simple. Because the Cloud Mountain Range is a mythical relic. Even now, humans have no way of controlling that place and can't understand the mysteries inside. I only know 2 things. The first is that the Cloud Mountain Range opens once every 4 years. The second is that the people who enter cannot exceed the peak of the 9th level of the martial artist realm. If you are an expert above the martial master realm, then you will never be able to enter again in this life. If someone dares to force their way in, they will immediately be crushed by the mysterious power inside." He explained the reason. "I see. No wonder Senior Mu suppressed his cultivation for 3 years. So it was to enter the Cloud Mountain Range. It only opens once every 4 years. If you miss this opportunity, you will have to wait for another 4 years. It seems that Senior Mu is determined to get it. He is really ruthless to himself. Who can do this? Suppressing his cultivation for 3 years just for this opportunity. Ordinary martial artists would have advanced to the martial master realm long ago. With this kind of progress, who knows how many years behind other experts of the same generation? Nonsense. Do you know what it means to have a good foundation? Although it seems that student Mu has lost 3 years, it doesn't mean that the faster the better. One also needs a strong foundation. If one's martial arts foundation is not strong enough, then when one advances to the late stage, the progress will become slower and slower. Some experts in the martial master realm are even stuck in the first level of the heavenly layer for 10 years. Indeed, if one can establish a strong martial arts foundation when he advances to the martial master realm, he will definitely soar into the sky. His cultivation speed is many times faster than other martial masters. It is said that there was a senior in the previous batch who suppressed his cultivation for 4 years just to enter the Cloud Mountain range. In the end, he obtained a great opportunity and broke through to the martial master realm. In the next 10 years he advanced to the Grandmaster realm, far surpassing his peers. However, his peers were still struggling in the martial master realm. In this way, who would dare to say that he is wasting time and doing useless work? A King Realm expert once said that your foundation will determine your future height. I presume that senior brother Mu has the same thoughts as well. Many students discussed animatedly, and they understood why Mu Haoran did this. Actually, Mu Haoran is not the only one doing this. There are many monsters in Yanhuang University who have suppressed their cultivation and have not broken through to the martial master realm, all for the sake of entering the Cloud Mist Mountain range. The senior continued, experts like these are the true elites of Yanhuang University. Each of them is far more powerful than Xiao Yishuan. Tell me what gives Xia Ping the right to be so arrogant? Hearing this, everyone could not help but agree. An unparalleled genius who had suppressed his cultivation for 3 years must have honed himself in the martial warrior realm. His skills had long reached the acme of perfection, and he was almost at the limit of the martial warrior realm. It was no joke to say that he was invincible in the martial warrior realm. It was simply impossible for Xia Ping, who had just entered the university, to defeat a veteran expert like Mu Haoran. Look, the president of the Saber Dao Club has also spoken. He is a terrifying expert who is not inferior to the president of the Saber Dao Club. His saber skills have reached the acme of perfection. Someone immediately noticed that a second post had appeared on the forum. That post was posted by the president of the Saber Dao Club, Zhu Zijian. How dare a mere freshman be so arrogant? Come to the Saber Dao Club and I will show you what real saber skills are. One slash is enough to split you into pieces, Zhu Zijian shouted at Xia Ping. Although it was only one sentence, it showed an unparalleled domineering aura, and he exuded an invincible aura. Everyone could feel the confidence in his heart, and he thought that he was invincible. However, this was just the beginning. After Zhu Zijian's post, it seemed to have caused a chain reaction, and posts were posted one after another. Xia Ping, is there no one in the Cloud Realm? Feel free to come to the Fist Technique Club. Any expert from the Fist Technique Club is enough to defeat this so-called freshman. No. Come to the Hidden Weapon Club. This way that freshman Xia Ping will truly feel despair and terror. The world of martial arts is very big. Claiming to be invincible now is just a frog at the bottom of a well. Your Hidden Weapon Club is nothing. If you have the guts, come to my Leg Technique Club. If I can't make that freshman Xia Ping kowtow and admit his mistake in 3 moves, my Leg Technique Club will be closed for a month tomorrow. The presidents of the martial arts clubs appeared and posted one after another, showing their contempt for Xia Ping. They thought that they could easily defeat this so-called top freshman without even needing 3 moves. Even if Xia Ping had a record of defeating more than a dozen senior students, it was nothing for the real monsters. They could do it too. Otherwise, how could they dare to claim to be invincible in the martial warrior realm? This Xia Ping has really angered everyone. The Sword Technique Club, the Knife Technique Club, the Fist Technique Club, the Hidden Weapon Club, the Leg Technique Club, and so on. Which one of them isn't a famous martial arts club in Yanhuang University? A student exclaimed, these clubs have gathered the true elites of Yanhuang University. There are hidden dragons and crouching tigers in them. All the geniuses of the past 2 to 3 years are in them. But these monsters are targeting Xia Ping. That kid is dead meat. There is no place for him in Yanhuang University. Everyone was shocked. They didn't expect that so many clubs would target Xia Ping at the same time. They made it clear that they would fight Xia Ping at the same time, and let him know what he was capable of. It's over. Xia Ping is completely finished. Being called out like this, it's impossible for him to not fight. Isn't that right? Once that kid cowers here, he will be a coward. His reputation in Yanhuang University will be ruined. No one will look up to him, and even his martial arts mentality will be damaged. He has to fight. But compared to those powerhouses who have suppressed their cultivation, and the club presidents who claim to be invincible in the martial warrior realm, that kid has no chance of winning. Soon this kid won't be able to show off anymore. He will definitely be taught a painful lesson. Chapter 355. One by one, the clubs issued a statement stating that they wanted to challenge Xia Ping and teach this arrogant freshman a lesson. This news suddenly swept through the entire Yanhuang University and was known by countless students. Even some elite students and teachers heard about it. At this time, in a villa in Yanhuang University, a group of girls gathered in the villa's hall. A girl with big eyes asked curiously, "Sister Su, why are there so many martial arts clubs targeting that shameless hooligan? Did you use your charm to make those club presidents target that hooligan?" The other girls also looked at Suji. So many clubs took the initiative to attack Xia Ping and clamored to fight him. No matter how they thought about it, this matter was a bit unusual. "I didn't do such a boring thing," Suji said snappily. "This is purely because Xia Ping likes to court death. Last night he dared to be arrogant in front of so many people. He said that there are no good students in the Cloud Realm and that all of them are fake. He even dared to slander the royal bloodline. You can imagine how many people were angered by these words." She was very speechless. She didn't expect that hooligan to be such a lunatic. He dared to say that in front of so many people. He clearly wanted to provoke public anger. Those geniuses in the Cloud Realm were all descendants of the royal bloodline. Which one of them wasn't arrogant? Perhaps there were some people with deep thoughts who didn't show their emotions, but most of them were hot-blooded warriors. They simply couldn't stand this kind of mockery. If they didn't completely defeat that bastard Xia Ping, what face would they have left? Wouldn't that mean that they, the students in the Cloud Realm, were all fake and relied on drugs to advance? I thought this was Sister Sue's plan. I didn't expect it to be that guy who likes to court death. He deserves it. I knew he was a shameless scumbag. Relying on his power and money, he ran amok everywhere. God knows how many girls he ruined. Now he's finally getting his retribution. It seems like we don't even need to do anything. There are a lot of people in Yanhuang University who want to take care of that shameless hooligan. It's so boring to have such a useless enemy. Before we can do anything, he killed himself. When that guy is beaten up, we'll hit him when he's down. Strip him naked and hang him at the entrance of Yanhuang University for a night. Get someone to flick his dick. That's the only way to vent my anger." The group of girls chattered, all of them looking down on Xia Ping. They felt that this brat had angered everyone and would definitely not have a good ending. Some of the girls were incomparably valiant and directly thought of all kinds of ways to take revenge. Suji was also looking forward to seeing the scene of that bastard being beaten up. This is called retribution. At this time, Xia Ping was browsing through the school forum, looking at the statements of the various societies and the posts denouncing them. It felt like a storm was brewing and the crowd was surging. "Big brother, things have gotten out of hand." Feng Hatang immediately called. "The Kendo Club, the Saber Club, and even the martial arts clubs like the Boxing Club and the Kicking Club want to settle the score with you. The situation is very tense right now. We should pack our bags and hide somewhere else." He was so scared that his face turned pale. Being targeted by so many martial arts clubs meant that the whole school was his enemy. The pressure was overwhelming. Most people would have wet their pants long ago. Even if Feng Hatang wasn't the person involved, he could feel the terrifying pressure, not to mention Xia Ping, who was the person involved. "Hide my ass. Let them come. I can give them one hand." Xia Ping didn't care at all. For these people's statements, he couldn't ask for more. It just so happened that he wanted to fight with others to consolidate his martial arts cultivation. Because his cultivation method was different from others, the more he fought, the stronger he would become. And he could also get a lot of hatred points. If he could get 1,000,000 hatred points, he could also get a big system gift pack. He was looking forward to it. "Big brother, you're awesome." Feng Hatang held it in for a long time and finally squeezed out such a sentence. Most people would have been scared out of their wits when they heard this news, and those who were a little more valiant would have a gloomy face. But his big brother was good. Not only was he not afraid at all, but he was eager to try. It was as if he couldn't wait for the other party to really fight him. "If I'm not awesome, who's awesome? Anyway, don't pay attention to those mad dogs. Sooner or later I'll take care of them. I'll beat them until their mother won't recognize them." Xia Ping patted his chest, very confident. After being promoted to the 8th layer of the warrior realm, there was even a part of the true qi in his body that liquefied. His combat power was extremely tyrannical. Those seniors who were known as invincible in the warrior realm were just bullshit. They were no match for him at all. In his eyes, those seniors were just whetstones that made him stronger. "Big brother, if you need anything, just tell me. It doesn't matter if it's a mountain of swords or a sea of fire." Feng Hatang was immediately relieved when he heard Xia Ping being so confident. Soon he hung up the phone with satisfaction. In addition to Feng Hatong, Jiang Yaru, Nangong Wu and Chu Rong also called. They were also very worried about Xia Ping's situation. They thought that the situation was very critical and that they could go out to avoid the limelight. After this storm was over, it was estimated that there would not be so many people targeting him. Xia Ping told them not to worry about such a small matter and that he could handle it. Even his fellow Yanhuang planet compatriots who were a little familiar with Xia Ping, such as Mu Banqing, Radi, Shifei, Lu Chang, and the others, also called to show concern, saying that they could help if there was anything he needed. However, Xia Ping rejected them one by one, saying that this was not a big deal at all and that he would just wait and see. Although the people who called to show concern were very worried, since Xia Ping said so, they could only believe him. After all, this was Xia Ping's decision and they could not interfere. It's really tiring. Xia Ping exhaled. He felt that dealing with these people was much more difficult than dealing with those enemies. Oh right, I still need to ask about the Cloud and Mist Mountains. Xia Ping felt that the Cloud and Mist Mountains was much more important than the provocations of those club leaders. This was a major event related to his promotion to the Martial Master realm. Thinking of this, he immediately went to the forum and sent a private message to the senior who was very familiar with the Cloud and Mist Mountains. He wanted to ask if the new students of the Cloud and Mist Mountains could participate. Under normal circumstances, as long as they are experts under the Martial Master realm, they can participate. The senior replied, but in order to prevent some students from overestimating themselves and blindly entering the Cloud and Mist Mountains to die, it is stipulated that only experts in the ninth heaven of the Martial Warrior realm can enter. If experts under the ninth heaven of the Martial Warrior realm want to participate, there is also a way. That is to pay 30,000 school points and get a place to enter the Cloud and Mist Mountains. Xia Ping also understood that those who had the ability to obtain 30,000 school points naturally had the ability to deal with ordinary situations. Their strength was no less than that of experts in the ninth heaven of the Martial Warrior realm, and they would not be stupid enough to die. When will the Cloud and Mist Mountains open? Xia Ping continued to ask. The senior replied casually, it will open in a month. A month? Chapter 356. Soon 3 days had passed. However, during these 3 days, Xia Ping had been cultivating in seclusion without any movement. He seemed to be completely unaware of what was happening in the outside world, and he had no intention of responding to the club leaders. However, even if Xia Ping did not respond, the matter was getting more and more intense. Many people with ulterior motives added fuel to the fire, causing the matter to continue to ferment. It's been 3 days. 3 days have passed and that kid Xia Ping is still pretending to be deaf and mute. He hasn't responded at all. What does that guy mean? Someone was puzzled. Originally, he wanted to watch a good show, but he did not expect Xia Ping to have no intention of responding at all. He was still as calm as a mountain. What else can he mean? He's definitely afraid. Being targeted by so many martial arts clubs, anyone would be afraid. He's just a coward now and wait for this matter to slowly subside. Some people sneered, thinking that Xia Ping was afraid. Many people also nodded in agreement. No matter how powerful Xia Ping was, he was just a freshman. Facing so many seniors, many of whom were monstrous geniuses from king families and were known to be invincible in the martial warrior realm. Even if that kid didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth, he knew that he was in big trouble. It was only human nature for him to curl up in fear and act like a coward. Do you think it's that easy to let this matter subside? It was obviously this kid who started it, but he still wants to pretend that nothing happened. It's simply a joke. At first, that kid was very arrogant. He claimed on the forum that there was no one in our cloud realm. Now that we have someone to stand up for him, that guy has shrunk back. He's simply a coward. So, those people from Yanhuang planet only bully the weak and fear the strong. When it comes to fighting, they are like reptiles. They are so weak that they have no real ability at all. He defeated a few seniors with ordinary qualifications, and yet he's so arrogant. It's not too much to say that he's a fake. In terms of character, this is not the mentality of a strong person. It's a pity that a group of people from Yanhuang planet cheered for him, saying that he was not afraid of any enemy at all. I didn't expect that in the end he's just like this. It's so disappointing. If he stood up and fought against those seniors, even if he lost, we could still praise this kid for being a real man. Even if he lost, he would still be honorable. But now he doesn't even have the courage. His future achievements must be limited. Cowardly martial artists, no matter how high their cultivation is, they are still trash. I wonder how he managed to defeat those seniors. Could it be a sneak attack? Maybe they bribed the older students to put on a show. Many students were mocking and ridiculing him. They were very disdainful of Xia Ping's attitude of avoiding the battle. They felt that this was simply the behavior of a coward. How could such a person be worthy of being number one? Some people even made malicious guesses, thinking that Xia Ping and the older students were acting, and that they actually didn't have any strength at all. Some students from Yanhuang Star were very angry when they heard these words. They all thought that Xia Ping would never be afraid to fight, but 3 days had passed and Xia Ping still hadn't replied, which made them feel a little guilty. They didn't know what happened to Xia Ping. In response to this situation, Mu Haoran, the president of the Kendo Club, immediately said, "It's fine if you don't dare to come out and fight. I'm not a narrow-minded person. As a senior, I still have my own thoughts. As long as he is willing to come to the Kendo Club and kowtow and apologize to everyone, then I will spare him once." A group of students sneered. This was not letting Xia Ping go, it was clearly humiliating him. If Xia Ping really came to the Kendo Club to kowtow and apologize, he would probably become a laughingstock for the rest of his life. Even if his martial arts state of mind was broken, it would be almost impossible to advance to a higher realm. Yes, as long as Xia Ping is willing to kowtow and apologize in front of everyone, and is even willing to be a volunteer worker and clean the streets of Yanhuang University for 3 years, then my Saber Dao Club can forgive him. The president of the Saber Dao Club also said. Some students from Yanhuang Star were very angry. They were forced to admit their mistakes in person and even became a sweeper. They were pointed at and ridiculed by countless people every day. This was not forgiving Xia Ping, it was clearly an opportunity to humiliate him. Some people were very angry. This group of people only dared to be so arrogant because they had cultivated for a few more years. If Xia Ping also cultivated for a few more years, these older students would not dare to be presumptuous. They were obviously bullying the weak, but they still had the nerve to speak with such a face. Indeed, it's fine if he doesn't dare to come out. After all, he's just a freshman. But because he is a freshman, if we don't educate him now, it will be difficult to teach him when he grows crooked in the future. Indeed, let him learn a lesson now and he won't dare to talk nonsense like this in the future. This is also for his own good. Not everyone can get the education of us seniors. One by one, the presidents of the martial arts club stood up and spoke, but all of them spoke in a sarcastic tone. They were just short of mocking and ridiculing Xia Ping in front of him. For a time, Xia Ping's reputation in Yanhuang University fell to the bottom. Most people thought that Xia Ping was afraid and did not dare to fight at all. Even some students from Yanhuang Star who supported Xia Ping were not confident enough to speak up. At this time, in a quiet room in the villa dormitory, Xia Ping slowly opened his eyes. After 3 days of cultivation, the true qi in his body increased a little, his strength was also a little stronger, and his martial arts foundation was consolidated a lot. He had gained a lot. Has it been 3 days? There should be a lot of noise outside. Xia Ping smiled slightly because this was his plan. He deliberately waited for 3 days and did not respond so that those students would think that he was timid. At that time, he would defeat them with thunderous strength and pull them down from their high and mighty position. It was estimated that this encounter would be engraved in their hearts, and their hatred would naturally increase greatly. We've waited for 3 days. It's time to shut those people up. Xia Ping stood up, and his clothes fluttered without wind, exuding a tyrannical aura, and the entire quiet room seemed to be shaking. The first club he wanted to deal with was the Kendo Club. The president of the Kendo Club was the most arrogant and the first to stand out. His strength was almost the strongest. As the saying goes, the shot hits the bird that sticks out. Teaching that guy a lesson would definitely cause a huge sensation. His first shot must amaze the world. Whoosh. Xia Ping left the villa, took a bus and soon arrived at the entrance of the Kendo Club. It was a huge training hall with a dojo inside. Above the door there was a plaque of the Kendo Club, made of wood and slightly yellow. No one knew how many years it had experienced. This was the history of the Kendo Club and represented its honor. Xia Ping is here. Chapter 357. The news of Xia Ping's arrival shocked the entire Kendo Club. They did not expect that a person who had avoided fighting for 3 days would suddenly appear at the entrance of the Kendo Club. The news not only spread throughout the Kendo Club, but even the students of Yanhuang University were shocked. After all, the speed of the internet was amazing, and it could spread throughout the university in a short time. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In just a few breaths, Dozens of members of the kendo club immediately came out, each with a long sword hanging on their waist. They appeared at the entrance and glared at Xia Ping. "Hey, isn't this Xia Ping? You've not appeared for a long time and now you finally appear. Are you here to kowtow and apologize? Now you know what it means to be afraid. But it's not so easy for you to enter the kendo club. First kowtow here 3 times. A group of kendo club members saw Xia Ping appear, and all of them were contemptuous and mocking. They suddenly laughed and their eyes were full of mockery, thinking that Xia Ping had appeared here to apologize. "Get out of here." Xia Ping squinted at them. "I'm not here to look for small fries like you. Where is your president? Immediately ask him to come out and die. In less than 3 breaths I'll flatten the entire kendo club." He stood with his hands behind his back, exuding a strong aura. He looked at the group of people in front of him indifferently, full of dominance. "What?" Hearing this, all the members of the kendo club present were stunned, as if they could not believe what they had heard. For a moment they thought that they were hallucinating. "Are you kidding me? Did I hear wrong? This kid asked the president to come out and die. If he doesn't come out, how can he flatten our kendo club?" A student was stunned. "I didn't hear wrong. This kid said so. It seems that this guy is not here to kowtow and apologize, but to look for trouble. He wants to challenge the club." A senior student's face instantly became gloomy, and he stared at Xia Ping. "Challenge the club? This kid wants to challenge our kendo club by himself? Does he think that there is no one in our kendo club? He's too arrogant. Who does he think he is? Does he really think that he is invincible in Yanhuang University? I've long heard that this new student considers everyone beneath him and has his eyes on the top of his head. I didn't expect him to be arrogant to such an extent. It's too exaggerated." Many members of the kendo club were in an uproar. All of them looked angry. The kendo club had been established for hundreds of years, but they had never encountered anyone who dared to challenge the club alone. This was the first time. They felt that their dignity was being despised. "Are you deaf?" Xia Ping waved his hand and said impatiently, "Ask your president to come out and die immediately. If you're late for even a second, I'll flatten your kendo club." "Don't be so shameless, you know? Gift your sister." A senior student in the 9th heaven of the martial artist realm immediately stood up and stared at Xia Ping with a murderous look. "There is no need for the president to come personally. I can finish you off by myself." With a boom he suddenly attacked. His long sword appeared like a silver dragon, and a powerful sword chi flew out. It was incomparably fast and the angle was crafty. It tore through the air, displaying the tyrannical strength of his sword Dao. As the sword slashed down, dense sword chi appeared in mid-air, completely covering Xia Ping's body, forming a huge sword chi net, leaving Xia Ping nowhere to escape, exuding an incomparable murderous aura. Too weak. Xia Ping's eyes revealed a trace of coldness. Without looking, he took a step forward and punched in the void. Boom. A terrifying fist force broke out in an instant, like the birth of a primordial fierce beast. The mountains shook and the earth shook, sweeping up a terrible gust of wind, bombarding the sword chi. With a few bangs, the sword chi was immediately shattered by the terrible fist force. It was torn apart inch by inch, and then from dozens of meters away, the fist blasted on the senior student's body. The senior student screamed and a terrible force broke out in his body. The steel longsword was immediately blasted into a pair of scrap iron, and his whole body flew out, rubbing across the ground for hundreds of meters. With a puff, he fell to the ground and could not help but spit out a mouthful of blood. His eyes stared at Xia Ping, but he could not hold on for long. Soon he fainted on the ground, foaming at the mouth. How is this possible? Many members of the kendo club were completely dumbfounded. This senior student was considered an elite in the kendo club, an expert in the 9th heaven of the martial artist realm. Even when facing the president, he could exchange a few blows. But what was going on now? With just a punch, the person next to him was seriously injured, coughing up blood on the spot. His lungs were severely injured and he was beaten like a dead dog. Such a gap was too terrible and they could not say anything at all. They collectively lost their voices. I said, ask your president to come out. You are not qualified to fight with me. Xia Ping looked at the members of the kendo club indifferently, exuding an aura of contempt. You are not strong, but are you not smart enough? Do you not understand human language? His words made the members of the kendo club go crazy, and their heads began to smoke. Little bastard, don't be too arrogant. You want to come to the kendo club and behave atrociously? You are the one who is overestimating yourself. There is no need for the president to come out, we can beat you half to death. Suddenly, a group of Kendo club members went crazy. All of them were extremely angry and could not stand this kid for even a second. How could they tolerate someone insulting the Kendo club like this? Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In the blink of an eye, 3 senior students appeared. Each of them had the strength of the 9th heaven of the martial artist realm. They held a 3-feet-long sword in their hands, and their sword chi soared into the sky and condensed into a substance. They formed a 3 talents formation and came over to fight Xiaoping together. Get out of here. Xiaoping did not give them any chance to make a move at all. He slammed his palm into the void in front of him, like Buddha suppressing the great sage heaven's equal, with the power to smash the 5 fingers mountain. Bang bang bang. The air exploded and there was a series of explosions. The 3 senior students could not withstand such a terrifying force at all, and their whole bodies were smashed to the ground by the slap. Ah! They could not help but let out a shrill scream. One by one they were slapped to the ground like turtles, and their knees knelt in front of Xiaoping. Gravel flew everywhere and their hands were numb. Even the 3-feet-long sword in their hands was smashed into pieces. No no no! The 3 senior students went crazy, and their faces were extremely ferocious. They were defeated with just 1 palm, and they even had to kneel in front of Xiaoping in humiliation. It was simply kowtowing to Xiaoping to apologize. This was simply a shame that was difficult to wash away. Chapter 358. You're being rude. Kneel here for half an hour as punishment. Xiaoping stood with his hands behind his back and said lightly to the seniors of the Kendo club in front of him. He was like an emperor giving an order to an unworthy minister, containing an unquestionable taste. You. The 3 seniors were so angry that they almost vomited blood. Making them kneel here for half an hour was no less than being paraded in the streets. They would lose all their face and would definitely become the laughingstock of Yanhuang University. How could they still raise their heads? They were all mad and tried to stand up, but they couldn't do anything. Xiaoping's slap almost broke their leg bones and they couldn't exert any strength at all. This is too much. Let them go immediately. Seeing this, the other members of the Kendo club were all furious. Making the 3 seniors kneel in front of them was also a slap to the face of the Kendo club and trampling on their dignity. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. All of a sudden, 5 or 6 seniors rushed over and tried to rescue the 3. Bang. Xiaoping didn't even look at them. He slammed his palm in the air like a gust of wind, fiercely hitting the 6 people. A flood-like power poured out and no one could stop it. Immediately they let out a shrill scream and were blown away. One by one they hit the wall, making a cracking sound and splashing gravel, creating a deep human-shaped pit. With a puff they couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood and lost the strength to fight. Who else wants to stand up for them? Go ahead. If I can't kill you with 1 punch, consider it my loss. Xiaoping's eyes swept around and looked at the members of the Kendo club. A terrible aura filled the surroundings, like a mountain pressing on their hearts, almost suffocating them. This. The members of the Kendo club who were present gritted their teeth, but after witnessing Xiaoping's tyrannical strength, they all stopped moving forward. 5 or 6 senior students had attacked together, but they were all sent flying with 1 palm as if they were trash. Even if they attacked together they might not have much chance of winning. But they were very unwilling. Their Kendo club was a famous martial arts club in Yanhuang University. Now, someone actually came to cause trouble and blocked the door, but they couldn't do anything. They could only watch helplessly as the other party ran amok and bullied people everywhere. They couldn't stand it at all. Enough. An angry roar suddenly sounded. Immediately, more than a dozen people walked out of the Kendo club's entrance. The one in the lead exuded an extremely powerful aura, like a treasured sword that soared into the sky, exuding an unparalleled sword chi. The surrounding people all felt a stinging pain on their skin, as if they were being cut by sword chi. If they got close to it they would suffer great damage. President Mu. Suddenly, a group of Sword Arts Club members could not help but exclaim, because the person who suddenly appeared was their Sword Arts Club president, Mu Haoran. Mu Haoran ignored the other club members and walked straight to Xiaoping. With a long sword at his waist, he stared at Xiaoping condescendingly. How dare you come to my Kendo club and commit murder? You're so unscrupulous. Have you thought about how you're going to die? His tone was filled with endless rage. Since the founding of the Kendo club hundreds of years ago, no one had ever been so bold as to come forward alone, block the entrance of the Kendo club, and even make 3 Kendo club disciples kneel in front of him. This was not as simple as a slap in the face. It was clear that he wanted to form a deadly feud with the Kendo Club. You've misunderstood. I'm not here to commit murder but to learn from each other. Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back, looked at Mu Haoran and the others and said lightly, but I didn't expect that the members of the Kendo Club would be so weak that they couldn't even take one move from me. This is really beyond my expectations. After all, your Kendo Club once asked me to challenge you, and your words were quite arrogant. In the end I came, but I didn't expect that I would be so weak. I thought to myself, how could you have the face to say such words? I guess these seniors are also ashamed of their inferiority and are sincerely convinced. That's why they knelt on the ground and apologized to me. He said so eloquently. Shut up. Mu Haoran's face darkened as he listened. He simply could not bear to listen to it. It was clearly this kid who used violence to force the Kendo Club members to kneel on the ground. This was coercion and intimidation. But from this bastard's mouth, he said that the seniors were willing to admit defeat. It was simply a dog's mouth that could not spit out ivory. Since you want to experience the strength of my Kendo Club, then I'll let you see what a real master of Kendo is. Mu Haoran shouted angrily. As soon as his voice fell, he instantly made his move. He pulled out the long sword from his waist and slashed out with lightning speed. It was so fast that people couldn't see it with their eyes. Xia Ping had long been prepared. He used his mental strength to perceive the surroundings. Even the slightest movement could not be hidden from his perception. He smashed his fist in the air, like a giant bear descending, exuding unparalleled power. Bang! The two forces collided with each other and immediately there was an earth-shattering explosion. The chi vibrated, and even a huge deep pit appeared on the ground. The wind swept around and the yellow sand rolled. You do have some ability, but if you want to behave atrociously in front of me, Mu Haoran, it is far from enough. A cold light flashed in Mu Haoran's eyes. He had no intention of stopping and slashed out with his sword. Immediately, dense sword chi appeared in the air. Each sword chi was like a thunderbolt, containing incomparable destructive power. They intertwined with each other and formed a terrible electric net, covering Xia Ping. This is Senior Mu's thunderclap swordsmanship. With one slash it is like a thunderbolt. Any demon or ghost will be smashed into pieces. This is a king-level sword technique. That kid is dead for sure. It is impossible for him to resist. Senior Mu not only learned the king-level sword technique, but he also has the bloodline of the Thundercat. His body contains the power of thunderbolts. With one slash, it is as fast as lightning. Who can resist it? Indeed, once he advances to the martial master realm, he can master the power of thunderbolts. His killing power is unparalleled. Even if he is only at the 9th heaven of the martial warrior realm, it is enough to defeat all enemies. If he doesn't have this level of power, how can he be called invincible in the martial warrior realm? A small freshman dares to provoke Senior Mu. He is simply tired of living. The surrounding students sneered. They thought that Xia Ping absolutely could not win. Whether it was genuine chi cultivation, bloodline power, or even combat experience, he was at a disadvantage. Xia Ping still wanted to win? What a joke. Go to hell. Xia Ping also made a move. His body turned into a white crane, and his body also contained an earth-shattering sword essence. Like a master of swordsmanship, he pointed at Mu Haoran. Chapter 359. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. In an instant, a tyrannical sword chi erupted from Xia Ping's body, slashing out like a storm. Every slash was extremely sharp, as if it could split the sky into two. Even this sword chi was infused with spiritual power, almost condensing into a substance. Bang bang bang. The sword chi collided with the sword chi, causing intense sparks in the air. The air vibrated, and streams of genuine chi were sent flying, falling down like meteors, smashing a deep pit. What? Mu Haoran couldn't believe it. When he used the thunderclap swordplay, it was as fast as lightning, and its power was tyrannical. An ordinary expert in the 9th heaven of the martial artist realm wouldn't be able to withstand it. However, this kid defeated his thunderclap swordplay in an instant, displaying terrifying combat power. That kind of power was not inferior to his. But at this moment he felt his hair stand on end. He saw Xia Ping standing on one foot, and a faint shadow of a white crane appeared behind him. With a finger, it was like a peerless sword grandmaster slashing down, causing the ground to tremble. Dong. A terrifying sword chi blasted out, almost 10 times more tyrannical than the other sword chi. In the blink of an eye, It reached Mu Haoran, easily defeating the sword chi along the way, instantly hitting his body. He almost instinctively circulated the protective technique in his body, but it was useless. The tyrannical sword chi almost penetrated his protective technique, invading his internal organs. His entire body was sent flying by the huge force, and his feet scraped the ground for dozens of meters before finally stopping. There were a few deep cracks on the ground and gravel rolled down. Pfft. Mu Haoran couldn't help but vomit a mouthful of blood. After being hit by this move, he felt the tyrannical sword chi invading his lungs, and he was already slightly injured. 8th Heaven of the Martial Artist Realm? When did you advance to the 8th Heaven of the Martial Artist Realm? Mu Haoran's eyes widened, almost unable to believe the power in Xia Ping's body. This was not the power that a 7th Heaven of the Martial Artist Realm could display. At least 8 acupoints were unblocked, reaching the 8th Heaven of the Martial Artist Realm. But the problem was that this kid was only in the 7th Heaven of the Martial Artist Realm not long ago. How could he unblock an acupoint in just a few days? His improvement speed was too shocking. 8th Heaven of the Martial Artist Realm? You must be joking. When this kid fought with Xiao Yishuan, he was only at level 7. After 3 days he advanced? Evildoer. This guy is definitely a peerless evildoer. Opening acupoints is as easy as drinking water? Could it be that he didn't come out for the past 3 days not because he was afraid, but because he was at a critical juncture in his cultivation and was about to advance to the 8th level of fighter? Everyone was in a heated discussion, all of them shocked. They were completely stunned by Xia Ping's current cultivation base. After all, which one of them didn't need to spend a lot of time and resources to clear their insight acupoints? But this kid seemed to have no bottlenecks at all, and he easily stepped into a higher realm. Are you scared? Xia Ping looked up at the sky and let out a long sigh. This is why I said that you students from the Cloud Realm are all fake. It's just because you have superior cultivation resources that you can improve so quickly. Right now, I'm on the same level as all of you and I have the same cultivation resources. Surpassing you in cultivation is just a normal thing. But all of you are not convinced and even scolded and ridiculed me on the forum. It's okay, I've seen many people like you. If you are not convinced, I'll beat you up until you are convinced. He clenched his fists. Bullshit. Hearing these words, Mu Haoran was furious. He glared at Xia Ping and said, You said I'm scared? Who do you think I, Mu Haoran, am? I'm a descendant of a dignified sovereign clan, and I've been cultivating in Yanhuang University for 3 years. I can break through to the martial master realm at any time, and you say I'm scared of you. What a joke. Since you want to die, I'll grant you your wish. Boom! As soon as he finished speaking, an aura that was several times stronger than before exploded from his body. The air seemed to distort and an illusion appeared. A purple thunder cat seemed to appear behind him, and its skin was covered with purple thunder patterns. In the sky, crackling thunder and lightning could be vaguely seen. It was as if a dark cloud was floating over from the sky. This power almost affected the weather. Senior Mu is really angry. He actually stimulated the king's bloodline in his body. A student exclaimed and trembled. He felt the terrifying pressure from Mu Haoran, as if he was facing a king. He didn't have the courage to fight him. It can't be. Isn't this the power of quintessential essence, which can control the power of attributes? Senior Mu is only a martial artist 9th heaven now. Can he already control this power? This is the true horror of the king's bloodline. After reaching the martial artist 9th heaven, the power of the bloodline in the body will slowly awaken, and after reaching the martial master realm, the potential will be completely stimulated. Even if Senior Mu hasn't reached the martial master realm, he has been stuck in the martial artist 9th heaven for 3 years. He has long understood the mystery of quintessential essence and mastered some of its power. And Mu Haoran's bloodline seems to be called Thunder Cat, a terrifying demonic beast that controls thunder. I guess he has also inherited this bloodline power, which makes his combat power extraordinary. Xia Ping is completely finished. Once the king's bloodline is stimulated, his strength and speed will greatly increase, and he can even display a trace of the power of thunder. How can he fight? Everyone was discussing and couldn't help but retreat, afraid that they would be hurt by Mu Haoran's power and be implicated. Bang! At this moment, Mu Haoran stomped on the ground, immediately creating a terrifying pit. His body produced a terrifying propulsion force, and the surface of his body was surrounded by thunder and lightning crackling. His whole body rushed over at an extremely fast speed, tearing through the air. Because his speed was too fast, it even burnt the air, creating traces of sparks. Go to hell. Mu Haoran shouted angrily and slashed down with his sword. It descended from the sky like a thunder god, exploding with a terrifying power. Amazing. Xia Ping's eyes flashed. He also felt the terror of his opponent's sword. It was not something that Xiao Yishuan's power could compare with. This had already exceeded the power of the martial artist ninth heaven, and could be said to be half a step to the martial master realm. Obviously, it had not slashed yet, but the thunder vibrated around and actually landed on the surface of his body, making crackling sounds and making him numb. If an ordinary martial artist came into contact with this move, he would probably be paralyzed by the electricity and his body would not be able to move, and then he would be killed by the sword. Dark North Body Protection Skill. Chapter 360. Bang Bang Bang. Mu Haoran slashed at Xia Ping with his sword. Immediately, the power of thunder and lightning exploded, making crackling sounds as if countless thunder snakes were tearing at him. The protective layer of genuine qi that Xia Ping had set up was immediately hit by countless ripples. The terrifying power shook, but this power could not break through his defense. Comfortable. Xia Ping, on the other hand, felt extremely comfortable. These energies bombarded his body, constantly tempering his physique, stimulating the profound yin pill that had not yet been refined, and even the medicinal power of the 9 revolutions vitality-enhancing pill was completely stimulated. Whoosh, the genuine qi in his body increased rapidly, crazily filling the genuine qi in the 8th acupoint, strengthening bit by bit. If he had cultivated in seclusion, he would not have succeeded in a few months. However, with the help of the enemy's tempering, he had made rapid progress in a short period of time. In fact, Xia Ping had come to challenge the major martial arts clubs not only to attract hatred, but also to use the strength of many martial arts experts to help him cultivate. Obviously, this goal had been achieved. What's going on? Why can't I break through his defense? Mu Haoran was stunned. He had used all his strength in this sword, stimulating the royal bloodline in his body, and exerting the power of thunder, which was invincible in the martial arts realm. However, he could not even break through the protective technique of the boy in front of him. He could not believe it. Oh no! At this moment, his hair stood on end as he felt a strong threat. After blocking the opponent's thunderous sword, Xia Ping immediately counterattacked, punching out. The 9th move of the Myriad Beast's Fist Dragon Tiger Seal. This was far beyond the White Crane Chop. Almost all the power of the previous 8 moves were concentrated. It could be called the strongest move of the martial arts realm, and its power was increased several times. Dragons were the strongest creatures in the sky. One roar could shatter mountains. Tigers were the strongest beasts in the world. One step of their claws could sink the land. In ancient times, these 2 races dominated the wilderness and were invincible. They represented the pinnacle of power. The Myriad Beasts Immortal observed these 2 races and created this move. This was the pinnacle of power. Once it broke out, the combination of the power of dragon and tiger would have the power to destroy everything. His left hand turned into a ferocious tiger, while his right hand turned into a violent dragon. They rotated like Tai Chi, and the power of dragon and tiger gushed out from his body. His muscles tensed up and his clothes almost burst open. The true Qi in his 8 acupoints spun crazily. The true Qi seemed to form the shape of a dragon and a tiger, forming the true dragon-tiger seal inside his dantian. The pattern of a true dragon appeared on his back, and the shape of a tiger appeared on his chest. His whole body's aura rose up and the ground shook. 2 huge craters appeared on the ground where his feet were standing, and all the rocks within a 1-kilometer radius were shaking. The surrounding students were all terrified to the extreme, thinking that there was a magnitude 4 or 5 earthquake. The moment this power reached its peak, Xia Ping punched out. Faint roars of dragons and tigers could be heard in the void, emitting terrifying sound waves that were deafening. Dong. A punch landed solidly on Mu Haoran's body. The body-protecting cultivation technique on Mu Haoran's body was shattered by the punch, and his whole body was sent flying like a piece of trash. Pooh! Mu Haoran couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood on the spot. More than a dozen of his ribs were broken. In an instant, he flew hundreds of meters and smashed through the stone walls of the kendo club. Finally, he smashed through 5 or 6 walls before he finally stopped. His whole body was embedded in the stone wall, and the rubble rolled down. He was unable to move. Senior Mu. Seeing that Mu Haoran was sent flying by a punch and smashed into the wall, no one knew whether he was dead or alive. Suddenly, a group of students exclaimed and rushed over to rescue Mu Haoran. However, Mu Haoran had long been unconscious. No matter what others said, he couldn't respond. My God, even Mu Haoran lost? A group of people were dumbfounded. Some people shouted, simply unable to accept such a reality. Impossible. Who is Mu Haoran? He is from a king family, a senior student of Yanhuang University for 3 years, and has the bloodline of Thunder Cat. He has been stuck in the 9th heaven of the martial artist realm for 3 years, and his martial arts skills have long reached the peak. Such a person in the invincible martial artist realm also lost? He was greatly shocked. Didn't you see? This kid's punch contained the strength of dragons and tigers, and the air exploded. This kind of fist technique is terrifying to the extreme. It already has the power of a martial master, and it can kill a strong enemy from a kilometer away. Monster, is this Xia Ping really from Yanhuang Star? Is he really a civilian? How can his strength be so terrifying that even people from a king family are no match for him? The surrounding students were shocked again and again. They couldn't believe that Mu Haoran was defeated. If even a strong person like Mu Haoran was defeated, then how many ordinary students in the entire Yanhuang University could be his opponent? The outcome has been decided. Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back, looked at the members of the Kendo Club indifferently and said, "You dare to provoke me, this is the result. As a punishment, I will accept the plaque of the Kendo Club as a trophy." After saying that, he wanted to take away the plaque at the door. Stop. This is the plaque of our Kendo Club. It represents the face of the Kendo Club. How can you take it away? The Kendo Club has been founded for hundreds of years and has been passed down from generation to generation. It has a long history. You taking away this plaque is a slap in the face of the past leaders of the Kendo Club. Are you planning to be enemies with the Kendo Club forever? Not only did you beat the president, but you also want to take away our plaque. Don't go too far, don't be too arrogant. You should know when to stop. A group of Kendo Club members shouted angrily and stared at Xia Ping, as if they wanted to eat him alive. For the Kendo Club, the plaque was an honor, something more important than life. If it was taken away by Xia Ping, then what face would they have left? Would their Kendo Club still be able to survive in Yanhuang University? One by one, the club members rushed up, trying to stop Xia Ping's actions. Since you all have asked, then I will say it directly. Xia Ping squinted and said, "Even if I forcibly take away your Kendo Club plaque, even if I slap your Kendo Club in front of so many people, what can you do to me? Arrogant. Too arrogant." Hearing this sentence, like a kitten whose tail had been stepped on, the members of the Kendo Club were all mad. They had never seen such an arrogant person in their life. Although their strength was not as good as Mu Haoran's, there were many of them. At least, they were martial artists above the 7th heaven of the martial artist realm. There were many martial artists at the 9th heaven of the martial artist realm. A mouthful of saliva from each of them could drown a strong martial artist in the martial artist realm. Even Mu Haoran did not dare to face so many people clamoring. Chapter 361. Are you angry? Are you not convinced? Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back, unmoved, and did not take this group of people seriously at all. But it's useless. No matter how angry a group of ants are, humans can slap them to death with one slap, and there will be no residue left. Even Mu Haoran was beaten by me with one punch. What can you do? Don't say that I'm bullying you. I'm just standing here and letting you hit me. If you break my defense and make me take half a step back, I lose. He spoke in an infuriating tone. Ah, this kid is so annoying. I can't stand this bastard for a second. He dares to stand here and let us hit him. There's a limit to looking down on people. What are you afraid of? This kid wants to die, so let's help him. Let's do it together and beat this bastard until he's half paralyzed. One by one, the members of the Kendo Club were completely enraged. Being provoked like this, even a clay man would be angry. If they still didn't respond, then they would really be cowards. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In just an instant, dozens of Kendo Club masters jumped out, took out their long swords and slashed at Xia Ping's body, trying to cut Xia Ping half to death. But the result was predictable. Xia Ping ran the Dark North body protection skill, and the sword chi was blocked at once, making a banging sound, but none of the attacks could break his defense. Clatter. Suffering from these attacks, Xia Ping's body immediately surged with a warm current, as if the strength of countless masters was patting on his body, helping him to temper his physique and enlightening him. Too weak, not even enough to tickle me. Xia Ping shouted. Damn, go to hell. Not enough to tickle. Let's see how this move works. Vital points, attack this bastard's vital points, kick his balls. I don't believe he is really so powerful, there are no blind spots. One by one, the Kendo Club members shouted and used all kinds of tricks, trying to attack Xiaoping's vital points, find his flaws, and give him a fatal blow. But it was all useless. Dark North Body Protection Technique is an all-round cultivation technique, tightly covering the whole body, no matter which part these people attack, it is the same. Unless his offensive power far exceeded his defensive power, he would not be able to harm Xiaoping in the slightest. It was conceivable that the members of the Kendo Club exerted all their strength, operated the true chi in their bodies and bombarded Xiaoping crazily, but to no avail. Instead, all of them were lying on the ground in exhaustion. The true chi in their bodies was quickly exhausted, and their faces were deathly pale. It was as if they had been raped for 3 days and 3 nights by a woman who weighed more than 300 kilograms. What's wrong? He had only been fighting for a short while and he was already out of strength. Did the members of the Kendo Club not eat? Or is this how you guys usually train, drying nets for 3 days and fishing for 2 days? Xiaoping felt that the effects of tempering the body had decreased significantly. He cried out in dissatisfaction. No wonder you are unable to break through to the martial master realm after staying in Yanhuang University for a few years. You are all so unambitious. You are a disgrace to the students of Yanhuang University. Do you know that even your parents are embarrassed for you? Damn you, Xiaoping, I'm going to kill you. It's none of your mother's business whether you are promoted to the martial master realm or not. Blushing my ass. What do you know? Do you know how hard I work in my cultivation? Hearing these words, the members of the Kendo Club gritted their teeth and were so angry that smoke was coming out of their heads. There was no doubt that after years of training, they still could not break through to the martial master realm and become an elite member. This was a pain in their hearts. Usually no one dared to expose this scar, but now Xiaoping had blatantly said it. One could imagine how aggrieved they were, and they even wanted to kill Xiaoping. Bang bang bang. A group of Kendo Club members used the last of their strength to desperately attack Xiaoping, like the warriors of Wolf Ivory Mountain who were ready to die. However, the difference in strength was too great and their attacks had no effect. An hour later, all the members of the Kendo Club fell to the ground. They were like dogs, panting and sweating, and they did not even have the strength to get up. They were extremely aggrieved. This guy was simply a monster. They kept attacking Xiaoping but they could not defeat him. Instead, they were exhausted. It seems that this is all you can do. In this case, I'll take the plaque away. Xiaoping felt comfortable all over, as if he had entered a sauna and was massaged. His muscles and bones were extremely comfortable. He also knew that this group of Kendo Club members had no strength left, and it was useless to continue to stimulate them. With a swoosh, he jumped lightly and immediately took down the plaque of the Kendo Club. No, 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 stop immediately. If you dare to take away the plaque of the Kendo Club, you will be the enemy of the Kendo Club. All the seniors from the Kendo Club will not let you go. You will become the target of public criticism. You are the target of public criticism, do you know that? One by one, the members of the Kendo Club shouted desperately, and their eyes were wide open. They could imagine how terrible it would be if the plaque of their Kendo Club was taken away. It was estimated that the seniors of the Kendo Club would be furious, and they would also be severely scolded and punished. More importantly, they would become the laughingstock of many Yanhuang University martial arts clubs. They would never see the light of day. However, they did not even have the strength to stand up and stop Xiaoping. They could only watch Xiaoping take away the plaque of the Kendo Club, which made them even more indignant. It's none of my business. If you have the guts, ask them to bite me. Xiaoping looked disdainfully at the whining of this group of homeless dogs. He carried the plaque of the Kendo Club, patted his buttocks and swaggered away. He did not care about these people's so-called threats. Damn it, Xiaoping, our Kendo Club is absolutely irreconcilable with you. Oh, ancestors of the Kendo Club, we are sorry and have shamed your reputation. Shame, this is a great shame. The plaque has been forcibly taken away. How can we face the seniors of the Kendo Club? How can we face their questions? The reputation of the Kendo Club for hundreds of years has been ruined in our hands. Shameless Xiaoping, just you wait. Sooner or later you will be out of luck. You won't be proud for a lifetime. Just wait and see. Heavens! Strike him to death. Send down a bolt of lightning and strike him to death. Such a person is so shameless. One by one, the members of the Kendo Club were going crazy. They were so angry that smoke was coming out of their heads. Some even directly fainted on the ground. The others struggled to chase after him but fell down after a few steps. Each and every one of them stared wide-eyed at Xia Ping as he left leisurely. The big kendo club had actually allowed this bastard to enter as if there was no one there. Chapter 362. At this time, in a dojo of Yanhuang University, a golden plaque was placed at the entrance. 3 words were written on it: Saber Dao Club. The words were written in a serpentine style, exuding a domineering aura. At this time, a group of Saber Dao Club members gathered inside the door. Have you received the news? The cowardly Xia Ping from before suddenly appeared. I've heard about it for a long time. How could I not have heard the news? Basically, the entire Yanhuang University knows about it. That kid is really bold. He went over and defeated the entire Saber Dao Club alone. Even the president of the Saber Dao Club was sent to the hospital by that kid. I wonder if he can be cured. That Xia Ping is so domineering. He even dared to challenge the Saber Dao Club alone? Those Saber Dao Club members are also idiots. That kid came looking for trouble. How could he fight alone? He should have looked for people to pile on him. They have already piled on him. It's useless. He even stood where he was and let you hit him. Instead, he was exhausted. In the end, Xia Ping was still full of energy. He even fought back. As a result, the group of Saber Dao Club members were beaten until they screamed. It is said that their screams could be heard from 3 kilometers away. Isn't that so? The worst thing is that even the Saber Dao Club's plaque was taken away. They lost all their face. That kid didn't give the Saber Dao Club any face at all. It hurts just listening to it. The dignified Saber Dao Club was actually defeated by a freshman. Even the president was sent to the hospital. The reputation of the Saber Dao Club that has been built for hundreds of years was destroyed. I don't know what Mu Haoren is feeling now. I guess he even wants to kill that kid. I didn't expect that kid to be so strong. He could actually defeat the Saber Dao Club. It's terrifying to the extreme. It is said that during those 3 days he was not avoiding battles. He was just at a critical juncture of cultivation. His goal was to break through to the 8th heaven of martial artist. In the end he succeeded. Therefore he challenged the Saber Dao Club and beat them until even their own mothers couldn't recognize them. What a terrifying freshman. I heard that he was only a 5th heaven of martial artist when he just entered Yanhuang University. In such a short time he advanced to the 3rd heaven? Otherwise, why would people say that he is a monster? The speed of improvement is like flying a spaceship. The members of the Saber Dao Club were in a heated discussion. They were all shocked by the news that Xia Ping had single-handedly challenged the Kendo Club. They would never have thought that the freshman they had looked down upon would be so fierce. The Kendo Club could not find a single person to deal with him. Instead, a group of Kendo Club members were beaten to a pulp, and even their plaque was taken away. Do you think that kid will come to our Saber Dao Club next time since he challenged the Kendo Club? A member of the Saber Dao Club suddenly said. He also remembered that his own Saber Dao Club had also criticized him on the forum. The words they used were no less vicious than those of the Kendo Club. Especially their president, Zhu Zijian, who scolded him so harshly, as if he had some grudge against Xia Ping. Hearing this, Zhu Zijian's face turned a little green. He had also thought of this. Since Xia Ping was so cruel, he would not be satisfied with just dealing with the Kendo Club. Maybe he would also deal with the Saber Club. To be honest, although he was very confident in his own strength, he didn't think that he could defeat Mu Haoren. Their strength should be on par. Since Xia Ping could easily defeat Mu Haoren, it would probably not be difficult for him to defeat himself. Kill him if he comes. What's there to be afraid of? Do you think our Saber Dao Club is a pushover that Xia Ping can bully at will? Are you kidding me? A member of the Saber Dao Club saw that his president's face was showing signs of turning green. He immediately jumped out and yelled, saying that the Saber Dao Club was not afraid of Xia Ping at all. That's right. Everyone in our Saber Dao Club is good at wielding sabers. All of us are fierce and born with divine strength. How can those sissy swordsmen compare to us? If that kid dares to come, we'll kill him. That's right. I'm not bragging. Everyone in our Saber Dao Club is an elite, and we have twice the number of people in the Kendo Club. We can kill him with just a mouthful of saliva from each of us. There's no room for negotiation. That's right. We have so many people. How can those useless people in the Kendo Club compare to us? If Xia Ping knows what's good for him, he won't foolishly come to the Saber Dao Club to court death. Otherwise, we'll let him know why the flowers are so red. The members of the Saber Dao Club shouted aggressively. However, if one listened carefully, one could tell that they were more or less lacking in confidence. They specifically emphasized the word many people. After all, the strength of the Kendo Club and the Saber Dao Club was actually about the same. If Xia Ping could destroy the Kendo Club alone, it would not be a problem for him to destroy the Saber Dao Club. Even though they had the advantage of numbers, they still felt a little guilty. Guild leader, something bad has happened. Xia Ping is here. At this moment, a student ran in frantically, shouting desperately with a panicked look on his face. What? Xia Ping is here. Bastard, that god of plague is here. How dare he come? Everyone get your weapons. Get your weapons now. All of a sudden, the group of people was shocked and shouted like birds startled by the mere twang of a bow. Bang. Suddenly the door was smashed by a punch and a huge hole appeared. Broken wood flew everywhere and smoke billowed. A figure walked out from the outside. It was Xia Ping. Someone looked over and saw more than a dozen members of the Saber Dao Club lying on the ground. They had been badly beaten and were wailing on the ground. Their faces were swollen like bread, and they were foaming from time to time. The faces of the Saber Dao Club members turned pale. Speak of the devil. After this bastard picked on the Kendo Club, it was their turn next. He did not even give them any time to digest what had happened. It was too sudden. At this moment, the president of the Saber Dao Club, Zhu Zijian, immediately stood up and shouted angrily at Xia Ping. Xia Ping, what are you doing in the Saber Dao Club? How dare you hurt members of the Saber Dao Club? Do you know that this is against the school rules? If you leave now, I can still forgive you. Otherwise, I'll report you to the Academic Affairs Office. You'll have to bear the consequences, understand? He said sternly, trying to intimidate Xia Ping. I'm just here to spar. Xia Ping clenched his fists and cracked them. Isn't the so-called martial arts club just a place where students can fight legally? Even if you report it to the Academic Affairs Office, no one will care. Come on, didn't you want a fair fight with me? I'll grant you your wish now. Let's see what the so-called Saber Dao Club is capable of. They dare to act so arrogantly in front of me. He stared at the president of the Saber Dao Club, Zhu Zijian, and exuded a terrifying aura. He was alone, but he exuded the aura of a powerful army, suppressing the entire Saber Dao Club. Chapter 363. So be it. What you're doing is clearly challenging the club and committing murder. Zhu Zijian said angrily, how can anyone be like you? Injuring more than a dozen gatekeepers the moment you arrived and charging at us unscrupulously. Is there a challenger like you? Apologize to me immediately. Otherwise, I will never forgive you. He cursed and tried to use morality to restrain Xia Ping. Are you afraid? Xia Ping looked up at the sky and let out a long sigh. I'm so disappointed. I thought that everyone who joined the Saber Dao Club would be brave and unafraid of anything. But what do I see now? Cowardly, timid, and no different from a coward. They don't even have the courage to fight me. They're even worse than the Kendo Club. Even if the Kendo Club failed and was completely wiped out, at least they fought to the end and were considered heroes. But what about you guys? You don't even have the courage to fight. How can people like you learn the saber? He looked at them with disdain. What did you say? Zhu Zijian and the others stared at Xia Ping angrily. Anger was brewing, and they felt as if Xia Ping had slapped them hard in the face. Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back. Am I wrong? A true master of the saber would rather break than bend. They are unstoppable and have an unparalleled aura that can kill all enemies. Look at you guys now. You don't even have the courage to learn the saber. You guys are completely useless. Go back to your fields. Fine, I won't trouble you guys today, lest others laugh at me for bullying cowards. He wanted to turn around and leave after he finished speaking. Stop right there. Zhu Zijian stepped forward and yelled angrily to stop Xia Ping from leaving. You want to leave after saying that? Do you think it's that easy? He stared at Xia Ping angrily and felt like his lungs were about to explode. That's right. Take back what you said just now. How dare you say that we're worse than the sissies of the Kendo Club? Shut your damn mouth right now. You said that we're not good enough to learn the saber. What do you know? Many members of the Saber Dao Society were going crazy. If they allowed Xia Ping to leave today, this blabbermouth might start spreading rumors that the members of the Saber Dao Society were afraid of fighting him, which was why they threatened him. At that time, what would the other people in Yanhuang University think? He was clearly a sword Dao powerhouse, but he did not even have the courage to fight Xia Ping. What future did such a person have? He might as well go home and plant sweet potatoes. Even though the Kendo Club had failed and their plaque had been snatched away, they still fought to the end. The gap between the Saber Dao Club and the Saber Dao Club was obvious. Therefore it was impossible for them to let Xiaoping go. Not satisfied? Come and die. Xiaoping stood with his hands behind his back and said indifferently, "Submit your sister." Everyone, let's attack together and kill this idiot. How dare you barge into my Saber Dao society? You're courting death. Hack him to death. Don't hold back. I'll pay for his medical fees. All the members of the Saber Dao society were clamoring. Their anger was at its peak. With a clang, they pulled out their broadswords and slashed at Xiaoping. Saber chi filled the air. The first to attack was Zhu Zijian. His attack was earth-shattering. Terrifying saber chi erupted as if a raging bull had appeared behind him, shaking the mountains and earth. His strength was no weaker than Mu Haoran's. Because Zhu Zijian was also a direct descendant of a king family, he had the bloodline of a raging bull and was born with divine strength. With a slash of his saber, he could split a boulder weighing hundreds of tons in half. He could even crack the ground a kilometer long. How could the attack of such a powerhouse be insignificant? Xiaoping's eyes lit up. He took a step forward and the entire ground shook. His aura rose as if a Vajra Buddha had descended with unparalleled strength. Golden light surged from his body, making him look extremely sacred. Immovable Buddha's palm. With a slap of his palm, the air rumbled. His palm was covered in golden light as if it was made of gold. After advancing to Fighter 8 Firmament, his attack power was more than twice as strong as before. This slap was like a golden palm branding the air. Every line on the palm condensed into a substance, as if Buddha was chanting and had the power to subdue demons. Bang, bang, bang. A slap landed in front of Zhu Zijian. The saber chi was immediately shattered into pieces, breaking inch by inch. A terrifying vibration came from the air as the force penetrated through. Zhu Zijian couldn't withstand Xiaoping's full-powered slap at all. He was sent flying and the broadsword in his hand was sent flying by this flood-like force. His hand was numb. With a thud, his body smashed into the wall in the distance after flying for more than 100 meters. A human-shaped hole was formed as rubble flew in all directions. Are you kidding me? The members of the Saber Dao Club were stunned. They already knew that Xiaoping, who had swept the Saber Dao Club, was very ferocious. He defeated Mu Haoran, who was known to be invincible in the fighter realm, with just a simple move. However, they did not expect that Xiaoping would actually send Zhu Zijian, who was almost invincible in their eyes, flying with just one palm strike. As if he was swatting a fly, Zhu Zijian slammed into the wall, unable to get out. Ah! I can't accept this. I can't accept this. Zhu Zijian was going crazy. He was on the verge of a mental breakdown. Facing a freshman who was a level higher than him, he couldn't even withstand a single move and was sent flying with a slap. He was seriously injured. If he was really that weak, then what was the point of all the hard work he had put in to suppress his Fighter 9 Firmament cultivation and not entering the Martial Master realm? Wasn't that mocking him for doing useless work for the past 3 years? He couldn't accept such an outcome at all. Noisy. Xiaoping cast a sidelong glance at Zhu Zijian and sent out a palm strike in the air. With a boom, the terrifying palm print slammed into Zhu Zijian's body from hundreds of meters away, instantly knocking him out completely and making him unable to say anything. Damn it. Let's go. Let's kill him together. Avenge the president. Kill this bastard. The members of the Saber Dao Club were all going crazy. This kid didn't even let go of the injured and completely knocked him out. He even did it in front of them. He was looking down on them. They were all going crazy. They rushed forward and formed a saber formation, seemingly besieging Xiaoping. Stupid. Xiaoping was like a tiger in a flock of sheep. He was not afraid of the saber techniques of the members of the Saber Dao Club at all. Relying on his powerful protective technique, he took on their saber aura head-on. Every punch and kick was like a terrifying weapon. Along the way, the members of the Saber Dao Club were punched one by one. They were all sent flying as if they were being trampled by elephants. They smashed into the wall and, like Zhu Zijian, passed out and lost the ability to fight. Chapter 364. I'm taking this plaque away. You guys don't have to give it to me. With a swoosh, Xiaoping leaped up and took the Saber Dao Society plaque from the entrance. Stop it right now. This plaque is a treasure passed down from the first generation of the Saber Dao Society. How dare you take it away? If you dare to take it away, the Saber Dao Society will fight to the death with you. Seeing this, other than those who were knocked out, the other members of the Saber Dao Society shouted angrily. Their eyes were wide open and they wanted to eat Xiaoping alive. The Saber Dao Society plaque was left behind by the first president and had been passed down from generation to generation. It had a history of hundreds of years and had gone through many trials and tribulations. It could be said that this plaque was a testament to the glory of the Saber Dao Society from generation to generation. Since the establishment of the society, it had never been taken down. It was a historical relic that represented honor. Any member of the Saber Dao Society would take pride in this plaque, which was similar to an ancestral memorial. However, it had been taken away by this brat without any scruples. This was like a few tight slaps to their faces and a few mouthfuls of phlegm. They had lost all dignity. Fight to the death? Hearing this, Xiaoping narrowed his eyes, revealing a dangerous glint as he stared at the members of the Saber Dao Society. Interesting. Since it's a fight to the death, why don't I just cripple all of you? It's not a bad idea to become eunuchs for the rest of your lives. He exuded a murderous aura. In an instant, everyone present was scared out of their wits. They could clearly sense the terrifying murderous aura exuding from Xiaoping, especially towards certain parts of their bodies. They immediately knew that this bastard was definitely not joking. If he continued to provoke them, they were afraid that certain parts of their bodies would be severely injured. I'm sorry, big brother. We're actually just shooting our mouths off. We're just bragging here. One of the students stuttered. He was so scared that his body started trembling. Yeah, it's just a stupid plaque. Big brother, you can take it away if you want. That's right. It's not easy for big brother to come to the Saber Dao Society. It's only right for you to take a plaque back as a gift. Don't worry, I've knocked out the guy who talked nonsense just now. He has some problems with his IQ and likes to spout nonsense. I hope big brother doesn't mind. If big brother still cares, we can still beat him up and let big brother vent his anger. We are all innocent, please don't implicate us. The members of the Saber Dao Club were scared to death. Trembling all over, they lowered their heads and apologized. If Xiaoping really flipped out, they would probably be miserable. They would all become cripples and eunuchs. Even if this bastard would be held accountable afterwards, it would be useless. After all, they had all become eunuchs, which was a fate worse than death. What was the point of pursuing that bastard's responsibility? Would it bring back the most important thing in their lives? Therefore, all of them were terrified and didn't dare to say any more harsh words. They lowered their heads and apologized. All right, I'll let you go this time. Remember to be more careful next time. Seeing the attitude of these people, Xiaoping felt very satisfied. After teaching them a lesson, he carried the plaque and swaggered away. At this moment, no one dared to stop them, or rather, even if they wanted to, they didn't have the strength to. In the blink of an eye, Xiaoping left the Saber Dao Club. Seeing that Xiaoping's figure had completely disappeared from their sight, the members of the Saber Dao Club were all furious and finally dared to speak loudly. That's too much. That bastard is really too much. The stuttering student immediately cursed with a face full of grief and indignation. His face was swollen and looked like a pig's head after being beaten by Xiaoping. It would probably take a few days for the swelling to subside. Not only did he beat people up in our Saber Dao Club, he even took our plaque away. That's too much. Another student grimaced in agitation. The wounds on his body split open and blood flowed out, causing him to scream in pain. He beat us up and even slapped our faces. He's shameless to the extreme. He's trying to make our Saber Dao Club a death grudge. Sob sob, we've let down the seniors of the Saber Dao Club. Hundreds of years of reputation has been destroyed in our hands. It's over, it's completely over. We've lost all our dignity. How will the other students of Yanhuang University look at us in the future? I swear I'm not human if I don't get my revenge. Everyone in the Saber Dao Club was filled with grief and indignation. They gritted their teeth in anger and wanted nothing more than to tear Xiaoping into pieces. Such humiliation was simply unheard of. Some of them even shed tears, wailing bitterly. But that kid is too terrifying. Even our president, Zhu Zijian, and even the president of the Saber Dao Club, Mu Haoren, were no match for him. He beat them up like dogs with just a few moves. Who else among the ordinary students of Yanhuang University can be a match for him? Some students gritted their teeth in grief and indignation, but there was nothing they could do. Indeed, that bastard is too strong. He has already advanced to the 8th level of fighter. He's a monster. He's just a freshman, but he already has such terrifying strength. Even our Saber Dao Club is no match for him. I guess there aren't many ordinary students in Yanhuang University who can control this bastard. Say, even our Saber Dao Club has been defeated. What about the other clubs? That's right. Our Saber Dao Club isn't the only club in the entire Yanhuang University that attacked him. The other clubs are also involved. Is this kid going to wipe out all the clubs in Yanhuang University? He's going to wipe out Yanhuang University all by himself? That's no joke. I have to say he really has the strength to do so. Many members of the Saber Dao Club discussed among themselves. They could see the shock in each other's eyes. If Xiaoping really wiped out all the martial arts clubs in Yanhuang University, he would probably set an unprecedented record. Such a thing had never happened in the hundreds of years since the founding of Yanhuang University. However, there were also some who were looking forward to it. If only their Saber Dao Club and Saber Dao Club were unlucky, they would definitely become a laughing stock. It would be a shame that they would never be able to erase for the rest of their lives. However, if all the clubs were defeated by this bastard, it probably wouldn't cause much of an impact if their Saber Dao Club was wiped out by him alone. Of course, they would never say such a shameful thought out loud even if they were beaten to death. However, the thoughts of the members of the Saber Dao Club were correct. Xiaoping had the idea of wiping out all the martial arts clubs in Yanhuang University. He would personally go to those who dissed him on the forum to demand an explanation. Chapter 365. The next day, the news that Saber Dao Club and Sword Dao Club were destroyed by Xiaoping spread throughout Yanhuang University. All the students were in an uproar. Xiaoping ignored everything around him. This was just the beginning. He went to visit each major club one by one. Damn it, he's coming. That bastard Xiaoping is really coming. Damn bastard, he destroyed Sword Dao Club and Saber Dao Club, and now he wants to make trouble in our Hidden Weapon Club? Let's go together. We don't need to be polite to such a hooligan. Find someone to kill him. I don't believe this guy has 3 heads and 6 arms. Everyone do your best. Our Hidden Weapon Club is not as useless as Sword Dao Club and Saber Dao Club. It will not be so easy to be wiped out and the plaque will not be taken away. The members of the Hidden Weapon Club shouted, and all of them were filled with righteous indignation, staring angrily at Xiaoping who came to the door. Sword Dao Club and Saber Dao Club also boasted like this, but you know what happened. Xiaoping stood with his hands behind his back. Surrender, kowtow and admit your mistakes and I will spare you once. Spare my ass. Our Hidden Weapon Club also needs your mercy? Xia thief, go to hell. Attack his lower body and break his balls. The members of the Hidden Weapon Club were furious and immediately threw their hidden weapons to bombard Xiaoping, but they were all blocked by Xiaoping's Dark North body protection technique and turned into a pile of scrap iron. You don't know how to appreciate favors. Xiaoping rushed up and used his fists and feet like a human-shaped Tyrannosaurus. In just half an hour, all the members of the Hidden Weapon Club were beaten to the ground, and the president of the Hidden Weapon Club wanted to run away with the plaque, but he was knocked out by Xiaoping with a brick in the first place. I'll take this plaque away. If you have the ability, you can challenge me to get it back. Xiaoping also took away the plaque of the Hidden Weapon Club. Ah, Xia thief, we will not live under the same sky with you. God, please strike him to death. Why didn't God strike him to death? He won't be arrogant for long. He will definitely kick the iron plate. That's right. That bastard will suffer sooner or later. Let's see how long he can be happy for. The members of the Concealed Weapons Society fell to the ground one by one, howling in agony. They were all extremely aggrieved. Each and every one of them exerted all their skills, but still could not do anything to Xiaoping. Instead they were beaten up violently. One could imagine the anger in their hearts. However, there was nothing that could be done. The difference in strength between the two sides was too great. Xiaoping didn't care about the Hidden Weapons Society's feelings. He challenged the societies one by one. It's over, it's over. That demon Xiaoping has come to our Fist Arts Club. Damn it, does this bastard really want to flatten all the martial arts clubs in Yanhuang University? He's too arrogant. Does he really think that we, the members of the society, are made of mud? Being bullied like this, even a Buddha would get angry. Everyone, let's fight it out with him. Don't brag here. He's already at our doorstep. Dozens of our brothers are lying on the ground, wailing in pain. We'd better take the plaque and run. Otherwise, we'll definitely be humiliated by him. That's right, that bastard is simply a monster. Even big clubs like the Saber Arts Club and the Sword Arts Club were flattened by him. Small clubs like ours are simply vulnerable. All the members of the Fist Arts Club were terrified. They had received news that Xia Ping was planning to challenge their Fist Arts Club. With a bang, the door of the Fist Arts Club was smashed into pieces by a punch. Xia Ping walked in directly and scrupulously. He had already treated the Fist Arts Club as his own territory, as if he had entered an uninhabited land. I heard that the Fist Arts Club has gathered all the Fist Arts experts in Yanhuang University, and they are proficient in the Fist Arts of Yanhuang planet for thousands of years. This time I'm here to learn from them. Who wants to die? Xia Ping, like a grandmaster, arrived in front of a group of Fist Arts Club members. Like a mountain, he pressed down on the hearts of many students, exuding a terrifying aura. Everyone, don't be afraid of him. In fact, he's already an arrow at the end of its flight. That's right. He has already challenged 7 or 8 martial arts clubs. His strength has long been exhausted. He's just putting on a brave front now. Let's attack together. 2 fists can't defeat 4 hands. He's just one person. We can drown him with our saliva each. Random punches can kill an old master. Let's all rush up and take this kid down. The members of the Fist Arts Club shouted and rushed up, wanting to surround Xia Ping. Bang bang bang. Xia Ping turned into a beast in human form. Every move he made contained great power, producing unparalleled destructive power. All the students who came into contact with Xia Ping's fists and feet were sent flying. They either had broken hands, legs, arms or legs. In short, they fell to the ground and wailed as if they had been sent to a disabled hospital. Too weak. Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back. He looked at the group of Fist Arts Club members, shook his head and sighed. Don't practice fist arts in the future. It's too embarrassing. Your fists can't kill people at all. They can only tickle. You. The members of the Fist Arts Club were furious. They were all experts who had been practicing fist arts for more than 10 years. They had already cultivated the basic fist arts to the acme of perfection. Even if they were to advance to the martial master realm, there was still hope for them to reach the grandmaster realm. However, this bastard dared to say that their fists could not kill people and could only tickle them. This was too much. He was looking down on them. However, they had nothing to say. They did not even have the strength to refute. The strongest member of the Fist Arts Club, the president of the Fist Arts Club, was sent flying with a punch. All the bones in his body were broken, and he was moaning on the ground. There was not a single expert in the entire Fist Arts Club who could compete with Xia Ping. Remember, if you see me in Yanhuang University in the future, take a detour and stay away from me. Otherwise, I'll beat you up every time I see you. Just treat it as teaching you some manners. Xia Ping said carelessly, I'm taking this Fist Arts Club's plaque. If you're not happy, feel free to come and find me. I'll even let you use only one hand. After saying that, he took the Fist Arts Club's plaque and left. On the 3rd day, Xia Ping challenged martial arts clubs everywhere. Almost everyone knew about it. Ah, Xia Ping is here. That devil Xia Ping is here. It can't be. What's going on? We didn't offend that bastard at all. Why would he come and find trouble with us? That's right. We're just a small club. We didn't even fight him. What gives him the right to come here and bully us? That bastard said that our club was near the Hidden Weapons Club. It was on the way, so he beat us up along the way. He beat us up just because it was on the way? This is too much. He's going too far. He's going too far. He's clearly acting like a tyrant here. He's clearly bullying people. When there's no tiger in the mountains, the monkeys call themselves kings. With such a villain running amok in Yanhuang University, do we still have a good life? Do we still have a future? A member of a small martial arts club also shouted angrily. Their club was located in a remote area with less than 100 members. However, they were still found by Xia Ping and challenged. The result was predictable. No matter how indignant they were still beaten up by Xia Ping. In addition, Xia Ping also went to the Gun Arts Club, Stick Arts Club, Kick Arts Club, Qinggong Arts Club, and other large martial arts clubs. Within a day, he uprooted 10 clubs and sent all of them to the hospital. In particular, those martial arts clubs that had mentioned on the forum that they wanted to fight with Xia Ping and said that Xia Ping was no match for them were the most miserable. Their boss was beaten until half of his body was paralyzed. Even their members were so miserable that they needed plastic surgery. In just 3 weeks, Xia Ping visited hundreds of martial arts clubs in Yanhuang University, big and small. He challenged them one by one and took all the plaques of these martial arts clubs as trophies. Chapter 366. During these 3 weeks, the school forum was also turbulent, and many students were paying attention to this battle. Amazing, this Xia Ping is simply invincible. Hundreds of clubs, were all defeated by him in 3 weeks and no one was left. Those senior students claimed to be invincible warriors, endured for 3 years and did not advance. They also have the bloodline of a king. They boasted a lot, but they were beaten by Xia Ping and are lying in the hospital wailing. Isn't it? Now the hospital is overcrowded and there are hardly any beds. There were a few senior students who bragged before, but now I don't know where they are. Now who dares to say that Xia Ping is a fake, and who dares to clamor in his face? Come out and take a few steps if you have the guts. If I don't speak first in spring, who dares to make a sound? On the forum, many students were talking about it, and they were completely shocked by Xia Ping's record. In 3 consecutive weeks, hundreds of clubs were defeated by Xia Ping, and he was invincible all over the world. Such a battle record was simply unprecedented and unheard of. Even if some people could challenge a club alone, no one could challenge hundreds of clubs in a row without even taking a breather. They could not support it for a long time due to the consumption of true qi alone. The problem was that Xia Ping was simply a monster. After fighting for so long, he had never been exhausted. Keep shouting, keep shouting. Aren't those Cloud Realm students very powerful? Call a few students out to fight with Xia Ping and see who is the #1 master of Yanhuang University. At this time, a student from Yanhuang Star jumped out and mocked a group of students on the forum. Before, they were full of anger. They were ridiculed by those Cloud Realm students and they could not lift their heads. They were beaten black and blue, and their hearts were full of grievances. Now, the entire Yanhuang University and hundreds of martial arts clubs were beaten by Xia Ping like cowards. If they didn't show off now, when would they get the chance to show off? One-on-one fart, a group of people were beaten to the ground by Xia Ping, crying for their parents, asking them to come out and fight him alone. This is a bit embarrassing. Immediately, a student of Yanhuang Star shouted, his face was full of pride. As a student from Yanhuang Planet, he felt honored. Anyway, in the martial arts club of Yanhuang University, the main force was basically from the Sky Realm. Students from Yanhuang Planet like him were basically not valued and could not occupy a high position. Now that he saw that group of people suffering misfortune, he felt extremely comfortable. I'm afraid only elite students can compete with Xia Ping. The problem is that if an elite student were to make a move, it would clearly be bullying the weak. The school would definitely not allow it. That's why Xia Ping is invincible. He flattened the entire Yanhuang University all by himself. If this isn't invincible, then what is? Those students who were born in the Cloud Realm were still bragging that Xia Ping would definitely kick an iron plate. However, after wiping out the entire Yanhuang University club, I don't see any iron plate appearing. Maybe he hasn't been born yet. After a few hundred years, I'm afraid he will be able to kick the so-called iron plate. Many students from Yanhuang Planet sneered and ridiculed him on the forum, as if they had won a big battle. It was simply exhilarating. What are you showing off for? It's not like you defeated many martial arts clubs of Yanhuang University. All of you are like Xia Ping's sons. If you are so powerful, why don't you recognize your father and see if he knows you? A student from the Cloud Realm went crazy and couldn't help but mock. That's right, all of you are pretending to be powerful. Do you think that with a freak like Xia Ping, the level of Yanhuang Planet is high? Don't joke around. Don't you know that you are all people who pull down the average line? Have some self-awareness. I think this is too exaggerated. In just 3 weeks, hundreds of clubs have been defeated by Xia Ping. I don't know how many students have been beaten by this bastard Xia Ping. Are the school leaders all eating shit? No one cares about this bastard's evil deeds. That's right, so many people were beaten. It's definitely a malicious attack. Call the police and arrest him. He will immediately be sentenced to more than 3 years in prison. The police haven't arrested him for so long. I don't know how much money has been given to the school leaders to help him suppress this matter. I heard that this bastard has a criminal record. He molested Suji and the others before. That guy wants to solve this matter with money. Damn it, then why are we still studying at the university? The dignified Yanhuang University has fallen to this point and was bought with money. Is there still a day for us? Let's immediately march to condemn Xia Ping's atrocities and drive him out of Yanhuang University. Yes, if this continues, Yanhuang University will never have a peaceful day. Many students from the Cloud Realm shouted, and the crowd was surging. Some sinister people also called on the forum. Since they couldn't defeat the murderer, they could use the power of the school to drive Xia Ping away and drive away that pest. Catch my ass. Someone sneered, this is an open and above-board challenge. Even the school recognizes this battle. Otherwise, the school would have sent teachers to stop it. Why would it wait until now? All of you are not strong enough. You only know how to stir up trouble and play some tricks. The more you do this, the more we look down on you. We think you are a group of people who can't afford to lose. What? Hearing these words, the group of people went crazy. Their faces turned red, but they also had to admit that if this matter wasn't within the school rules, Xia Ping would have been arrested long ago. Why would it wait until now? Even if they really went to cause trouble, they wouldn't be able to do anything to Xia Ping. But thinking of this, they were even more sullen. They were simply helpless. And this matter was not only fermented on the forum. Many people around Yanhuang University were discussing this matter. Especially Su Ji and the group of women. All of them wanted Xia Ping to be unlucky, but now that this happened, it could be imagined how depressed they were. Damn it, it's really too damn. A girl gritted her teeth. How did that group of senior students cultivate? It's simply a waste of several years of cultivation. So many people together can't beat Xia Ping. Instead, they were swept away and made him famous. Isn't it? These days, whenever I hear the name Hooligan Xia, I get angry. He's clearly just a pervert, but he actually has such a great reputation. He even made a name for himself. If this continues, how are we going to take revenge? Is there no one to take care of Hooligan Xia? The group of women was angry and incomparably sullen. The more famous Xia Ping was, the more resentful they became. Chapter 367. In a training hall of Yanhuang University. Xiao Yishuan was currently cultivating in the training hall. Every punch and kick he executed contained extremely powerful might, creating air explosions that possessed unparalleled destructive power. Xia Ping. He had also heard all kinds of rumors about Xia Ping. His eyes showed a trace of coldness. Although he was very unwilling, he also admitted that he could not do such a thing with his strength. In other words, his current strength was far inferior to Xia Ping. But it was precisely because of this that Xiao Yishuan was even more angry. He was a direct descendant of the Xiao family. He was extremely talented and had been a genius since he was a child. If he got second place, no one could get first place. Now he was actually surpassed and stepped on his head. Moreover, the strength difference between him and the other party was extremely huge. This kind of anger was simply indescribable. I will definitely defeat you. Xiao Yishuan gritted his teeth, and the momentum of his body became even more terrifying. The whole earth seemed to be shaking, and there was a roar of punches and kicks in the training hall. Even 2 or 3 kilometers away it could be heard. However, Xia Ping's actions may make some people very angry, but for Mu Banqing and other people from Yanhuang Star, it was great news and exciting. Brother Xia is really too powerful. Roddy couldn't help but sigh. I thought Brother Xia was a little troublesome this time. Being targeted by so many martial arts clubs, he was likely to be driven out of the school. I didn't expect Brother Xia's ferocity to be beyond my imagination. Not to mention the husky, he directly destroyed all the major martial arts clubs and beat them into a mess. He sighed again and again, feeling very shocked by this matter. Isn't it? When I heard this news, I didn't believe it at all. I thought some guy was bragging. Yes, Brother Xia's strength is beyond our imagination. I thought I could catch up with Brother Xia a little, but now it seems that I can't even see his footsteps. The speed of his progress is really amazing. It is said that Brother Xia is now in the 8th heaven of martial artist realm. It's hard to imagine that not long ago Brother Xia's strength was on par with ours, but in the blink of an eye, he far surpassed us. It's too terrifying. But in this way, I'm afraid those martial arts clubs will no longer dare to target Brother Xia. How could I dare? Aren't you afraid that I'll come knocking on your door again and humiliate you? Shifei, Lu Chang and the others were also discussing. Although they already knew that Xia Ping was not a simple martial artist and was simply a monster, this matter still exceeded their imagination. He had single-handedly destroyed all the major martial arts clubs. Was this something an ordinary person could do? Not to mention doing such a thing even before this, none of them had such thoughts. However, Xia Ping had done it. One by one, the martial arts clubs of Yanhuang University were suppressed. We must also work hard, otherwise we will definitely drag Big Brother Xia down and lose face for Yanhuang planet. Mu Banqing clenched his fists and his fighting spirit was burning. After coming to Yanhuang University, his aptitude was no longer invincible. There were experts with royal bloodlines everywhere, and there were geniuses everywhere. There was no way he could be arrogant. Even compared with those real royal families, the Mu family had declined and could not be compared at all, which put great pressure on Mu Banqing. But after seeing what Xia Ping did, Mu Banqing also had an endless competitive mentality. Since Xia Ping, who was also from Yanhuang planet, could do this kind of thing, he naturally did not want to lag behind. Within 3 weeks, he will destroy hundreds of martial arts clubs. The president of the club, who claimed to be invincible, was beaten like a dead dog and sent to the hospital. Many martial artists joined forces, but they were easily defeated, and there were whales everywhere. The terminator of martial arts clubs, the dark cloud hanging over Yanhuang University, the loathsome devil, is indisputably ranked as the most hated person in Yanhuang University. Such a person is called Xia Ping. Jiang Yaru, Nangong Wu, and Chu Rong saw the messages posted on the forum. They naturally knew about this matter, and all of them were extremely emotional. What Xia Ping had done was beyond their imagination. Once upon a time, a student from an ordinary Yanhuang planet city, ordinary and unknown, had become famous throughout Yanhuang University. No one could ignore this kind of strength. Even if he was suppressed by many martial arts clubs, it could not stop the light on him. As long as it was Cone Nail, no matter what kind of bag she was in, she would stand out. But they were also very unwilling in their hearts. Since Xia Ping could do this, they naturally would not fall behind. They must work hard and catch up with Xia Ping in terms of cultivation. In a conference room somewhere in Yanhuang University, senior leaders gathered. Recently, a young student has been very active and caused a lot of trouble. Many students have also reacted. I wonder what everyone thinks? An old man said. His body exuded an unfathomable aura. Even though he was sitting in a chair and had a short stature, he had a sense of existence that others could not ignore and was full of pressure. There were also more than a dozen old men present, all of whom were senior leaders of the university, and their strength was terrifying. I also heard about this matter. He actually swept away hundreds of martial arts clubs at the 8th layer of martial arts, and he is even a commoner of Yanhuang planet. He is not simple. Indeed, to be able to defeat the descendants of the King family, this young man is very strong and has a lot of potential. I heard that he is also a member of the Giant Corporation and was recruited in high school. Tsk, he really has a good eye. I didn't expect the Giant Corporation to recruit such a young man with such potential. In short, he did not violate the school rules, so there is no need to punish him. Sometimes Yanhuang University is still too peaceful. It just so happens that someone is needed to stir up this muddy water. With such stimulation, it might even form a good competition. No need to pay attention to it, just observe in secret. It may not be a bad thing for such a very energetic young man to appear. The dozen old men casually chatted and set the tone for this meeting. For these big shots, the matter of Xia Ping and the others was just child's play. As long as no lives were lost and the school rules were not broken, it was not a big deal. Next, we have to talk about the upcoming opening of the Cloud Mountain Range. This time, our Yanhuang University must not lose to other universities. Otherwise, the ancestors of Yanhuang University will be disgraced by us. An old man's tone was very serious. Compared to the trivial matter of Xia Ping, the matter of the Cloud Mountain Range was the most important matter. There were many secret treasures that even the king-level powerhouses desired. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.